Hey everyone, welcome to the Roseanne Barr Podcast. We're going to get in the Gavin McInnes episode right now. McInnes, you're not on mic. What is it?
Sorry. Yeah, McInnes. He said his grandpa had to change it to McInnes because America was so racist against the Irish, and they thought the Irish was all in the Irish mafia, which of course they were.
Yeah.
But they didn't want nobody to know it, so they had to sound more Scotland.
Absolutely. And we've already filmed the episode. We love Gavin. You guys hit it off. He said to you, I am Roseanne Barr, and you said I am Gavin McInnes.
As he left, he said, we are the same person. I said, yes, we are the same person. We like to rile and provoke fascists.
None better than the two of you. I
call
you
Woody Guthrie on his guitar there. It said, this machine slays fascists.
I love
and that's what we are. We're comics that provoke fascists. And when they get provoked shit, they unravel right before your eyes, like in The Wizard of Oz when they threw water. Remember I played the Wicked Witch?
Yeah.
And they threw water and I got to enact that part where you like dissemble in front of the public's
That's what's
eyes.
happening before our eyes. And you know that you and Gavin were canceled roughly at the same time. That's why I call you the king and queen of cancel culture. You two were probably the biggest cancellation. Not that he was at your star level, but his cancellation was overnight. Now he's a domestic terrorist in hiding, and we love him. Anyway, the reason I'm here is to tell you that we have a new page, youtube.com/@RoseanneBarClips. We're going to load our clips there, and the reason we're doing this is because YouTube is communist. They've demonetized us. We hate them. They're lying about our numbers.
We don't hate, Jake.
Okay. I don't respect the fact that they tell me we've gained 50,000 subscribers and we didn't get a single view. I don't believe that. I believe that as much as I believe Joe Biden got 81 million votes, 23 million at 4 a.m. It's bullshit. The numbers are cooked and I hate them. So we started a new page. Again, youtube.com/@RoseanneBarr.
You're trying to destroy our democracy of having no democracy. What the hell? You're destroying our democracy of no democracy.
That is true. youtube.com/@RoseanneBarClips. We got to build that page up. We just found it. I think we have like 8 followers right now. We want to start building there and try and get that monetized and start moving to Rumble because fuck YouTube. Thank you. So please go there and follow.
Fuck them all. They're all idiots. Yeah. Got to smarten up, everybody. Smarten up.
All right. Well, now enjoy this episode with Gavin McInnes. You got McInnes.
McInnes.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. You should know that, boy. I interbreeded with the Scottish just so I could expand my gene pool, which was all my cousins marrying their first cousin in the Jew world. I brought in some good genes from the Scots.
Really?
So don't be talking about Gavin McInnes.
Is this good genes to you?
The Scots are a tribe of Israel, you know.
I did not know that. But anyway, enjoy the episode.
Greetings, humans and earthlings and other sentient beings, including animals. Thank you so much for sending that video of the chickens loving on my voice. Send me more videos of animals loving on my podcast. Because you know what? Animals are the highest form of intelligence on this planet. And that's why they love my voice, because they know that finally a voice of divinity and intelligence has pierced this realm of unified bullshit. Welcome to the Roseanne Barr Podcast. But before I cut to the music and Jake gives me the song and dance about editing and shit, listen up. YouTube, okay, be sure you fucking click the like button if that's not too much of fucking ass for you to get off your lazy, entitled asses thinking I owe my whole life to you for free.
Yeah.
God damn it, I gotta pay my bills too. The least you could do to steal all my ideas and hear all the good shit I have to say, which I'm happy to give you for free, but the least you ingrateful bastards could do is push the fucking like button there, okay?
And notification.
And the notifications, because you know nobody's going to tell you the truth like me, bitches. Welcome to the Roseanne Barr Podcast. So you see, my patience is running thin.
Oh, you see, my patience is growing thin.
We have a genius that's pierced this realm along with myself, me, myself, and I. Another genius has pierced this realm, and of course, he has been persecuted, flogged, done 32 stations of the cross, And I'm so proud to have him here. We're going to hear what he has to say, not what they say he fucking said. Yeah, bitches. Hi, Gavin McInnes.
Hi, Roseanne. I brought some chicken nuggets and cream of mushroom soup. I don't know if you want it or I'll just put it down.
My granddaughter likes you. She's rare to like folk.
I love kids.
Yeah, I can tell.
And they seem to love you. That's a good sign.
Yeah, there's the thing that parents don't realize is you get them for like a nanosecond. Like they're with you from baby till 14. They start not liking you, and then you're just the owner of the motel that they stay at. So you've only got 14 years.
That's correct.
And then it's
Sometimes
gone.
only 12 for girls. Girls and a mom is different than children and their dad. I was so happy to hear one of my idols, Rihanna, talking about that, saying children, they need their dad. And she says she has 2 boys, but she's like, well, they need this primary relationship with their dad. And she says, I'm just a bystander, like that. I think that's true for boys and their dads. How many sons do you have?
I have 2 sons and a daughter.
Oh.
And my favorite example of why kids need dads is I was at the airport coming back from St. Thomas, and I was taking a shit, and I was next to some kid who had shot.
You were in the bathroom.
I wasn't.
Okay.
No, I was protesting. I worked for a climate change company, and I was just defecating all over the gate.
Oh, yeah. Well, they do that.
To raise awareness.
Yeah. Thank you for your service.
I sprayed the lady at the gate there who takes your ticket. I sprayed her machine. But no, so this kid was in the stall next to me, and he'd shot himself. And he was like 6. And the dad is like, what the hell's the matter? He's wiping his legs. And part of me was like, if this gets too much, I'm going to have to intervene. But it didn't get too much. He was just like, God, get it together. What the hell? You tell me you have to go to the bathroom. The kid was crying. And then we went back to the gate simultaneously, just by coincidence. And then the mom was there, and she hugged him.
The boy? The
little boy. He was sad. They threw his underwear away, whatever. And I thought, that's such a great example of why you need a mom and a dad. Yes, you shouldn't shit yourself. Literally get your shit together. But you're going to shit yourself. Like it's going to happen about once every 2 years for the rest of your life. So you feel bad when that happens. So you need a hug from your mom. So both mom and dad were right.
Well, I'm going to disagree there.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because my idea of a man, and I'm telling you what, the whole thing is through perceptions, right? So men are going to think different of their dads than women are going to think of their dads, right?
True.
And men. Like I'm going to think of men different probably than you're going to think of men, But like I like a strong man. And to me, my ex-boyfriend, Johnny, he told me his dad, who was a scrappy little Serbian guy, immigrant,
This is Johnny Argent?
Yeah. He's my ex-boyfriend now.
How long is that? How long you guys been apart? When did that end?
Well, we were together for 22 years.
This year.
And they were the happiest 2 years of my damn life. That's what I have to say.
So, Ma, the bird flu is coming back. It's an election season. Biden's probably stepping down. They're trying to kill Trump. They're trying to kill all of us.
They shot him. They shot his ear off.
And I don't know if they shot his ear off. That might be a little
Well, they shot the tip of his ear.
I think it went through right here. I saw on video today. But anyway, my point is...
My favorite meme was, don't get your ears pierced at Claire's.
That's hilarious. The point is, shit's about to get even worse. Biden's mentally declined. I think he's stepping down Monday.
It could be, and we're all worried about it. We don't know what's going to happen, though. It could end up to be really great.
That's true, but
we don't know.
What's the saying? You prepare for the worst, you plan for the best, whatever it is. I forgot it. But
hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
So that's why we love TWC, because these are medical emergency kits. They're the best. You have them, you just keep it. And if bird flu comes back, drug shortages, whatever, you get sick, you got all the drugs you need. I'll let you tell the people more.
Yeah, because you've got to be ready for the next thing.
Yeah.
The next thing they're planning to do to hurt us. With the wellness company's medical emergency kit containing 8 life-saving medications, including ivermectin, amoxicillin, and Z-Pack, plus a guidebook to aid in the safe use of these life-saving medications. That's what you get. This kit is prescription only, and you can't find anything like it in a store or a pharmacy. And I really think that every American household should have at least one of these kits in their home. We have several of them. Ordering your kit takes less than 2 minutes, and it couldn't be simpler. Go to twc.help/RB and use code RB to purchase your kit with $30 off and free shipping. Whether it's bird flu, monkeypox, COVID, cyber attacks, or drugstore shortages, you'll have what you need no matter what. You got to safeguard your health and the health of your family today by going to twc.help/RB and use RB at checkout to save.
Yeah.
Kits are only available in the USA. I mean, it's like a stitch in time saves 9, and all these old sayings that people have forgotten about and need to remember, you know?
Yeah. And just being
Be
smart.
prepared.
Be prepared. You don't want to be looking for medicine while the medicine that actually helps you is demonized so that they can push a experimental drug to inject in your children, and then you find out that drug all along would have worked.
Well, you know they're just trying to kill us because we're on their nerves.
He seems sexy. Big guy. Kind of a surfer kind of a look.
He's like an East Coast musician that's been in a lot of cool bands.
I have a boner right now. You're giving me a boner.
And he played with this guy that I used to love. What's his name?
Gary Puckett?
Yeah, Gary Puckett.
No idea who that is.
Young girl, get out of my life. My love for you is
so
way out of line. Better run, girl. You're much too young, girl.
Isn't that like the 50s?
With all the charms of a woman.
Yeah, Johnny was an older gentleman. He's older.
He's hot.
Sexy. So when did you guys break up? Why'd you guys break up?
We broke up because I got this deal for Fox to do this stand-up special. So I says, well, I'm going to go over there and do the stand-up special. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to go with you, but, I got these fucking cats. So he chose the fucking cats over me. I mean, I knew he was going to choose the cats over me because he's in love with these fucking cats because he's not normal.
He's a great cat guy.
You pay a fat chick $20 and she'll come by and
in Hawaii, they
basically make love to them.
They'll eat them. It's Hawaii.
Oh, this is in Hawaii?
Well, Hawaii, the bad thing about Hawaii is when you ask somebody to feed your cats at 5, they show up at 8:30 p.m.
Yeah, Hawaii
And
time.
then he got all worried about, but my favorite thing, I was on the phone with my sister, and I said, oh my God, he's talking to them fucking cats. I go, I got to put you on FaceTime so you can see this, So I go up behind him, and he's like this to the cats he named after Gilligan's Island. And he goes, no, Marianne, I'm not giving you any love right now. I've already fed you and petted you several times during the day, and I do not have the time right now to give you any more petting, okay?
How's that boner doing right now?
It's gone.
Yeah.
It
I
looks
heard
like a
him.
belly button. It's inverted.
I heard him. So he's like, I'm choosing the cats over you. So I'm like, all right. He's choosing the cats over me. It was a little heartbreaking.
Mark Stein. I've always looked up to Mark Stein.
Who's that?
Great writer. He takes over for Tucker's back when Tucker had a.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah, I
Isn't
loved him
he
too.
Great?
Until I found out he's a cat guy.
I'm a
Oh
cat
yeah,
guy.
I don't trust.
And he
cat
made a
guys.
video called "I Thought I Saw a Putty Tat Walking Up on Me," and he spent like tens of thousands of dollars, just like the Ricky Gervais's character in The Office when he got money. He did that.
Mhm.
If you
David
don't know me
Byrne.
by now thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best video ever.
He did a
Greatest.
video of like a giant cat sneaking up on him, and then he had another jazzy song about how his wife loves her cats more than him.
Oh, I gotta hear that.
Oh my God, it is so embarrassing.
I'm going to put this in. What's his name?
Well, he was
Mark
always
Stein.
excited when
I'll
I
find
had
it.
to leave home to go to work or when I'd go to babysit my granddaughter. So I come home early Why does he like not get upset because I'm going over there and spend the night? Because he's letting the motherfuckers in to sleep with him in his own room.
Ew.
He's sleeping with cats.
I'm allergic to cat people.
Me too. He
I
knows
break out
I
in
loathe
hives.
cats. I think they are of Satan.
Mark Twain is a cat guy, and it wrecks Mark Twain for me. You know they're not domesticated?
Yeah, that's
No.
why I like them.
If they were 6 feet tall, they would kill
They're
you.
lions.
If a dog was 6 feet tall, he'd just become Clifford. He'd want to hang out with you
Yeah.
and lick you and stuff.
That's why I like cats more than dogs.
That's why lesbians
Way
love
more manly.
dogs. Have
They're
you
the
noticed
enemy.
that a lot of lesbians own dogs?
Yeah, they never own cats.
But the gay guys own the cat. I'm just talking about like this. When there's only guys with guys, that's a different kind of culture. And when there's only women with women, that's a different kind of culture.
Mhm.
And I know because my brother is gay and my sister's a lesbian.
Mhm.
So I've gone between them two cultures and it's blew my mind how they got like a lot of, what do you call it? They project.
Yeah.
They really project onto the other
The
sex.
problem with gay men is, and this is why I hate black guys with blue eyes, they get too many blowjobs.
Yeah.
And it reduces their IQ.
No, I think this is true. This is true, I assume, right? It's not a
I
joke.
was at the airport, and there was two pilots shooting the shit,
Yeah.
and they were being interesting. And the gay flight attendant was behind him, and he had his head down. And I was like, you should have your head down. You failed.
Yeah.
You're a waitress in the sky, and these guys are driving, how many pounds is I don't even know, 500-ton buildings through the air, and you serve drinks?
Well, Ma, you know, it's easy to put off something you don't think is important now, right? You got enough going on in the world, and you got a family, and they're trying to kill our candidate and kill us. And there's certain things you should be doing now outside of everything else. And one of the things I suggest, I have 2 daughters now, is a life insurance policy. Look into it. We partner with Policy Genius. I'll let you tell people more. But this is something very, very smart because you don't want to be, you know, on your deathbed going, oh, I should have protected my family or my kids. You want them to be covered. That's what life insurance is about. And you also know from watching the ID channel that it can work in a lot of different ways for you. But the point is, it is an important product. And I'll let you tell people more.
every wife or husband that murders their spouse first takes out a life insurance policy on
Stage
them.
one.
But that's also how they get caught.
Right.
Because they're foolish and they kill them like right after the policy goes through.
Yeah.
And that is not smart. You got to wait, I think, 10 years at least.
Yeah. So you got to get Policy Genius now.
Yeah, you do.
Whatever
to
your
plan
plan is.
ahead. You've got to plan ahead for your future.
All right, tell
That's
the
a
people
joke.
somewhere.
Insurance policies that start at just $292 per year and offer $1 million of coverage. That's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you know. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. Right, Jake?
Yeah.
Check life insurance off your to-do list in no time with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com.
And another thing, it's not just a life insurance policy to cover expenses after you go or even leave gifts to your children. There's more to it than that. Because a lot of things people don't talk about ever is your children can inherit your debt.
I know, that's what.
Isn't that gross?
That's why I took out. That's why I added that to my life insurance because, you know, I worked hard to leave something to my kids, and you know the government is already going to try to take half of it.
Yeah, definitely. And you've been successful.
So, you know, I took out life insurance policies to protect the taxes that my kids are going to have to pay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think we're really lucky that we can get life insurance. If we get the right policy, it's very helpful.
And Policy Genius will work with you.
Yeah.
They save time. They'll take you through the whole process. It's not just like a site you go to and type in. There's people there. They're on the phone. They can help you, walk you through every step of the process. So go check them out.
Yep.
Then I think, why are gays like not kicking ass? They
do.
They make money, you know, organizing parties and stuff, but like, where's the gay CEO of Well, now with affirmative action, they're getting to be CEOs, and planes are falling out
They
of the
do
sky.
really well, actually. You're an older model.
Oh yeah.
Gays-
What's your favorite gay who won the Fields Medal in mathematics?
Well, I
Who are
don't.
you
I don't know.
talking
I couldn't
about?
name anyone
Gays.
that won a Fields Medal.
What
in
are you talking
mathematics.
about, gays? I
I'm
don't
He's
know.
saying they're not kicking
really
ass.
hitting it out of the park.
They had President Obama was president of the United States.
That's pretty
They
good.
control the fucking world. Haven't you never heard of the gay mafia?
No.
Yeah. The
Hello?
Velvet Mafia, but that's Hollywood entertainment.
No, it ain't.
David Brock, Media Matters.
Come on, it's all media and all advertising too,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Easy stuff.
That's why they didn't put Melania Trump on no covers of no fashion magazines when she was
True.
the most fashionable
Gorgeous.
first lady we've ever
Prettiest
had.
first lady ever.
Yeah.
Even better than what's her name? JFK's bitch.
Jackie O.
Jackie
yeah,
O.
I agree. No, she was
JFK's a
objectively
wonderful
better
lady.
looking than Jackie Onassis. I agree.
Jacqueline Onassis was exquisite in her features. I saw her face up close. I used to stare at her all the time when I was in New York and eating at my favorite restaurant. Eat. And she used to come in there with her gorgeous son, who we'll talk about another time. I hope he's alive.
He ran against Hillary, and we know what happens when you run against Hillary.
Yeah.
You disappear.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly. I hope he comes back. A lot of people say he's still alive. That's what they say on the Real Raw News. Do you think he's still alive, JFK Jr.?
Have you heard that one?
I didn't even know he was gone.
Oh.
This is the guy who talks like he's been
No, that's
crying.
our-
No,
RFK.
that's Bobby Kennedy
Oh.
Jr.
Yeah, see, he's not into the.
You mean
JFK.
John Kennedy who crashed in the plane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
A lot of
Q,
people say-
Q people think he's still alive. Just
No,
that you're
he's dead.
missing the. Yeah, I agree. That
He's
you're going
dead
to make
as
a
a
lot of
doornail.
people mad. Can I just get you back on track? You did start with saying kids are different with dads. I wanted you to finish that thought if
yeah.
you could. We got a little off.
Yeah.
I love it, but what was your point? You were saying he was talking about a
girls
dad
with
shitting his
their
pants.
moms, that's a friggin' frightening civil war of minds, wills, hearts, and manipulation as unto the devil himself. It's a horrible trip with a daughter. And I think the men, the daughter adores them.
Mhm.
He's her final word. He gets all that loving up. And of course, because men are kind of narcissistic in many ways.
We all are.
But they need to be because they're the lion. You know, they got to go kill the food, right?
Yep.
So they got to believe in themselves above all else, or they wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They lay down the law. It's like a cop.
Yeah.
You know when people try to outsmart a cop and they go, "I ain't giving you my ID." Or,
Oh, here's what I was going
And
to
then they
say
get
about
killed.
my ex-boyfriend's dad told him.
okay.
He said, a man most shows his strength through his gentle leading. And I just thought that was really cool.
That's valid.
Because
Yeah.
I thought that was a good dad. Because you think about that's how I tried to do John Goodman's character, whatever that was. Dan Connor,
You forgot his name.
one of them. I tried to do Dan Connor to where he was reasoned and merciful. Because I
Yeah.
thought there was a lack of that in fathers in America. And I wanted to set that example, you know.
Well, you look at the way fathers are
I didn't know he's going to end up to be a
fag enabler.
Well, that's the difference between the character and the actor, right?
But you look
But
at the
he
way men are
sullied the
portrayed
name.
in
Yeah.
sitcoms. Obviously, Homer Simpson is a joke.
Yeah.
The guy in Married with Children is a joke.
But
Yeah.
they were brilliant.
They're all pathetic losers.
Dice Clay, too. They
Even
were brilliant at it, doing the sad sack.
there hasn't been a good dad
there's a
on TV
cartoon
since.
with these two kids. One's a fish named Darwin, and the dad is a bunny. I forget
an
the name
idiot.
of it. But the dad is so retarded
Yeah.
that if he was left alone, just like Homer, if you left Homer alone,
Yeah, he'd be
he
dead.
wouldn't be able to make mac and cheese. Like
Yeah.
he would die of starvation.
Yeah.
And Roseanne was one of the few shows where the dad was a tough working class guy, but he was not a moron,
Yeah.
No.
and he led his family with a sense of, style, I guess is the word.
And he adored his wife
Yes,
because he knew she was hot,
right.
right?
Did you have to sleep with John Goodman in order to convey that to him?
Well, I tried to make him sleep with me, but he wouldn't, to his credit.
He has that kind of willpower?
Now, this was way back in the day. I tried to force him to have sex with me, and he refused, which was cool.
Wow.
How did you do it with the plant? Did you jerk off on a plant like Harvey Weinstein, or?
Now I
No.
feel weak for succumbing to your prowesses earlier.
Huh?
Now I feel like a
What?
loser.
What are you saying? I'm old. No, but I tried to make him, be my boyfriend. And he's like, this is what he told me. It was very kind. We can't shit where we eat. And I said, yeah,
That's so romantic.
You're so right. And I love you even more because you told me the truth. And then I was horrified. Plus, I was horrified of having to kiss him. And he was horrified of having to kiss me. And that's where we talk about we'd go to each of us would go to the therapist to try to figure why we were abhorrent of kissing our co-star.
Well, you were scared you would like it, and that would wreck the show and kill your careers.
What do the therapists say? Is that accurate?
They said, you're living through some fucking karmic shit in this fake life you're living on TV. And I was like, God damn, it's right. Because it's like there were too many levels to it. And so one time we knew we had to do this kissing scene. And so we talked to each other and we said, come on, let's walk down the parking lot and hold hands before we do the scene. And I said, okay, come on. So we walked down the parking lot holding hands, and we was getting the fucking heebie-jeebies off of it. It was so scary.
This sounds like sexual tension.
I don't know. It
Yeah,
sounds the opposite.
we were scared of we were scared of each other. I was scared of him because he was a fucking great actor and I was not. Until I, learned from him, and now I consider he and Lori, they made me, and I do think I'm a great actor.
Yeah. Well, you were playing you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm better than Meryl Streep. You can just see it in that movie I did with her, She-Devil.
You got great reviews.
I'm the first. That was my first and only movie because, I have a big mouth and always ruin my career. But what have you? But anyway, I'm happy to ruin my career.
Do you like being famous?
At times. I sure as hell do.
Like when you're pulled over for
I
speeding?
need a table now.
You know who I am?
Yeah, it's good for the eating. And
do you mind the relentless selfies?
I don't, after what happened to me. I used to hate it, and I was with Merle Haggardis one night, and we was hanging out there after a show, and I was drunker and shit. I was drunk, of course, with Merle and all that, and he hadn't even started drinking, or he was sober, I can't remember then. But somebody was screaming, I want you to sign my man, and follow all the way to the dressing room, which is a long way, some ropes. And I was just a bitch. I couldn't help myself because one thing, I was always a bitch on stage, and that's where they liked me.
Right.
And another thing, a lot of times I act like a bitch out of trying to perform for them, thinking they would laugh. And they'd go, you're nothing but a bitch. Yeah.
That's my brand.
And so she's on my ass and shit. And so I said, fuck off. And Merle says, God damn, I wanted to do that once in my life. My whole life.
You should have said to him, Mama tried.
I've never heard that story. That's fascinating.
I've met the best of them. But anyways, you're one of the best of them.
I agree.
So you
Thank
start out as a cartoonist there, and you're born in England.
Yep. Born in England.
New York. What age to New York?
There was a massive demand for computers in the mid 70s, and Canada is socialist, so they don't have to rely on the free market. So the government said, we want computers here. That's the hot thing. So they just went to Britain and said, anyone have a degree in physics? And my dad was like, I do. My dad's from Glasgow. My parents are Glaswegian. And they're like, fine.
Just half Glaswegian.
Oh, yeah?
I've never heard that
Do your
before.
fists clench? Do your fists clench when you drink whiskey?
No.
Okay. You're not Scottish
I'm
enough.
not Scottish. Scott's Irish.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about that
tomato.
later. No, it's
a
neither
boat ride
Scottish.
away.
No, it's neither. It's not
His last name is
Scottish Irish.
Pentland. That's Scots.
Scotch Irish. They were like the Appalachian Mountain rednecks that were thrown out of Scotland and Ireland. I'm not
Yeah.
Scottish or Irish. I'm Scots Irish. I'm trash.
Yeah, it's the same
The
thing, bro.
first
That's what I was
of
told.
Pentland is right there in
Look
Scotland.
how little my hands are. Inbred. Thousands
We're
of
all
years.
inbred. That's the only thing.
Well, Jew inbred and Scots Irish inbred. Appalachian Mountains.
Everybody from an island's fucking inbred.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go? You're marrying your fucking first cousin first.
Yeah.
Or your second cousin is at best. That's why everybody's a fucking retard.
It's true.
That's the truth.
And
That's
the
why
Arab
I
world.
was genetically attracted to a Slovakian American Indian, because I was trying to reverse the inbreeding that's been going on for so long. But anyway, we moved to Canada in the mid 70s for the computer thing. My dad grew up very, very poor in Glasgow, where they had a great system in Scotland and Britain. You did your O levels at 14.
What's that?
It's a test, an SAT test.
Okay.
And if you're smart, boom, you're off to the best schools in the country. And if you're dumb, you get a trade. And you could be dirt poor, you're going to a fancy school
That's
now.
so smart.
So they should do it
We
here.
dropped
the
it because
way
it
we
was like
should do.
eugenics. But
Mhm.
so my
No,
dad
that's
had a private school uniform in the hood, and that the N word in Glasgow is student. So it'd be, see you fucking student. So he would have to fight every day. His nose looks like a boxer's. So he was this poor kid who was smart. They moved him down to Canada. I lived there until I was 18. Then I moved to Montreal, which I consider a different country, Quebec,
Yeah.
French Canada. So it's 400 years old. Canada's 100 years old. Totally different country.
Right.
And then we started Vice in 94, moved to New York in 99. I was pushed out in 08. And then I just started doing like comedy sketches on YouTube. We started an ad agency. I blew that by saying trans are just mentally ill gays. That was a big controversy. They shut down the ad agency. Then I started doing podcasts. And then I started my own network, Censored.tv. And we've got Anthony Cumia of Opie and Anthony and AIU, Elijah Schaefer. Bunch of it's the Island of Misfit Toys. Everyone has been canceled is there. Obviously, we can't have you. We can't afford you. But if you weren't rich, we would have you.
Thank you.
Well, we
Very
can
much.
stream there as well. We can do a
That would be great.
we could do a simulcast. But anyway, can I ask
Hey,
you
I'm
about
down for the cause.
why you got what happened with Vice specifically? Because I know the other.
I think the
impersonating.
story with Vice is, and I obfuscated it for a while because my feelings were hurt. But to
Yeah.
be totally honest, I think that I was too controversial for that brand, and they're merging with Viacom.
Right.
at the
Oh,
time.
there you go. That's what they
Did
did
you
to
get
me.
bought
And there
out?
was a gay dude there. What's his name? Brian Grazer. Brian.
Oh
Grazer?
no, I worked.
I
with
told
them,
you, gay
know.
dudes did well. They
Oh,
kicked
So
I
he
it.
didn't like the do's and don'ts. So that was my fashion column where I'd make
Right.
fun of people's pants.
Right.
And he saw some homophobic thing where I was like, "Nice socks, fag," or something like
Right.
that. And he started pushing to have me out. And our sales guy, Shane Smith, he'd been a very talented sales guy. They used to call him the CEO whisperer. And he would get us big clients, make us tons of money. I mean, I got rich off of him.
Yeah.
And something about Gen X, salesmen are seen as scumbags.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It started with used car salesmen. In the 60s and 50s and before that, salesmen were, I think they deserve a lot of respect. They're
Yeah.
the reason that you have food on the table.
Death of a
Especially
salesman.
creative types like me who can't fucking sell
Yeah.
anything. But I think he resented that he was the sales guy. He didn't want to go down as the sales guy. He wanted to be the creative guy. So when I was pushed out, he started
Well,
focusing on
sales
content.
guys are the creative guys. Remember Bewitched? Have you no memory? Remember her husband? He was the sales guy, and he always made up the advertising.
I've never been accused of having no memory because I don't remember the husband of the chick from Bewitched. What are you, stupid?
But you,
Is that an IQ test?
you were taken care of when you
Darren
left Vice,
was
though,
an
right?
ad executive.
Darren.
The first Darren or the both Darrens?
Both Darrens.
So the sales guy, the thing about sales is you're a money man. And if you're a money man and you do content, you go, all right, who's spending the most money? And the answer is babysitters. Okay, what do young girls like? Garbage woke shit.
Right.
Okay, then let's go woke.
Right.
Right, I get it.
And
So
that's
you-
what
so-
tanked it.
You were pushed out of Vice, but you got you got taken care of, right? You
Yes,
did-
yes,
okay.
yes.
I
Thank
think.
God.
Yeah.
Bunch of lawyers arguing and
Okay. Because I've always wanted to ask.
but
you
not
that.
what I
Then you
deserved.
went on.
No, of course
Then
not.
you went with Glenn. What's his name?
That was many years later. So I was petering around in in the podcastosphere and doing Fox News a lot, doing Red Eye and stuff. And then I worked at a sort of a pre-Blaze company that merged with Blaze. And then my whole life changed drastically on October 12th, 2018.
Mom, the ability to provide for your family in America has changed. In the old days, you go to work and you come back, and nowadays, with crippling debt, something we talk about all the time.
That's all our sponsors: life insurance, crippling debt.
It is because a lot of people
Because
are.
that's the bottom line right now.
Well, it's debt slavery. It's a system. The American government is against you. It wants you in debt because then you're a slave. It's simple. So the things you do to get out of debt make you more of a patriot and more free. It's just a fact.
That is a fact.
And what's happening now because of Bidenomics, groceries are too expensive. So whatever you were doing before, you're getting squeezed more even now. So American Financing, I love this company. I talk about it all the time.
I know you're always
I have a
talking
lending
about it.
license. They're really good. If you're a homeowner, I'll let you tell them more. You can actually help get out of credit card debt and all kinds of debt. They save a lot of money for people. I'll let you tell them more. It's amazing.
American Financing is saving people like you an average of $854 a month.
It's crazy.
Think about what you could do with an extra $800 every month and not have to worry about those minimum monthly payments. And even better, it costs nothing to find out how much you can save. All it takes is a quick call to American Financing, and if you start today, you might be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. So call American Financing today and see if it's right for you. Start your journey towards being credit card debt free. 866-890-8585. That's 866-890-8585. Or visit americanfinancing.net/Roseanne.
And what's cool about them, they're family owned and operated. They've been in business 25 plus years. Their employees do not get commission. They don't make money off a loan they give you. They're salary based. They get paid to work. That benefits you as a consumer, and all these things add up. It is a great resource if you're a homeowner.
Now, I'd always been controversial, but in a like a silly way. You know what I mean? But on October 12th, we did this comedy show, and it was celebrating the murder of Japan's Socialist Party in like whatever it was, 1948, I forget. But on October 12th, Otoya Yamaguchi, the student, he impaled the head of the Socialist Party during a speech and murdered him.
Saving Japan.
And I heard Japanese conservatives celebrate this day, and I thought, that's funny, let's do that. So we reenacted it. My sidekick is a Japanese guy. So and if you look it up online, it's usually in slow motion.
Yeah.
So I came out, I had like racist chinky glasses, and I had the Japanese school uniform he had on, and the katana sword, which is a plastic toy sword. And I ran like, and I stabbed him in slow motion, and it was funny and everything. But the Dems, it was right before the midterms, and the Dems knew that Antifa was ruining their brand with their wanton violence. So they go, we need right-wing violence.
That?
Yep, I'm positive.
Yeah, we got to really get into this.
But keep going.
Okay,
I want to talk to you for
so they
years.
needed right-wing violence, and we knew this was coming.
Yeah.
So Proud Boys actually brought pillows to that talk because they knew Antifa was going to jump them, and they're going to beat them back with pillows.
Right.
The Antifa jumped a journalist that night. He's now called the Gypsy Crusader. They
killed people.
They have killed many people.
Well, they hit a woman with a bike chain.
But they jumped this dude, and
the
no charges. Lawyers magically appear, misdemeanors. But at the end of the night, we were kept there by the police. They cleared out the area, and Antifa had gone around the block. So Proud Boys didn't bring their pillows. And they got jumped by Antifa. They said, you want to go? Proud Boys said yes, and we're actually losing at the very beginning of the fight. But they dominated them. They beat the shit out of the guys. 17-second fight. They got 4 years in prison for that. Despite Antifa saying, I don't want to press charges.
But Antifa didn't get shit, right?
Nothing. And it was their fight. And they didn't press charges. They didn't get to face Proud Boys didn't get to face their accuser.
Right.
But someone flicked a switch on October 12th, 2018. And all of a sudden, my daughter went from the most popular girl in school to eating lunch alone. My other 2 sons totally
Shunned
ostracized.
like the Amish do.
Signs on
Leftists are like the Amish.
Wearing a scarlet letter.
There was a sign on the highway at the exit for where I live in Westchester. posters all over town. Like I was kicked off all social media. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah. No, I remember this.
All like
Me
that.
too.
You
Yeah.
skipped ahead a little bit. You found the Proud Boys. You just skipped over that.
Yeah,
So-
that was in 2015, 2016, and
But that's an important thing.
But they weren't controversial then.
No, I
Weren't
know.
you just
You can
guys
find-
that were drinking at the bar?
It's just a
No,
animal
they were.
house.
You guys were a protective. So can we just?
We were
get
like
into this?
pictured next to Tucker and Proud Boys. Everyone loved them. They were just like any other. They were almost like the Tea Party.
I
Just
want
like
to.
conservative dudes.
Do you remember in Berkeley? Because this is where it all started.
Mm-hmm.
Christina Hoff Sommers was a friend I had her on my old podcast. She wrote The War on Boys. Her and Milo Yiannopoulos. I
I'm
can
gay
never
for her.
remember.
Yeah, Milo.
They were
too.
going to speak at Berkeley, and the
Mhm.
students Antifa blocked them from speaking because they were
Mhm.
right wing, and it broke out and it got violent. Someone got hit with a bike chain, and I forget if I get.
Fires.
Yeah, so let me just bring this up. Base sticked man. So
Yep.
this is how, I'm a student of the internet. So patriots started showing up to protect people like Christina Hoff and Milo to speak.
Right.
So there was like this kind of like they were just street fights and scuffles. So I remember this going on. Base stick man was the guy who has like American flag and he had a stick. And he was
Kyle
beating-
Chapman. Yep.
Yeah, his real name. So this was to protect free speech on Berkeley. This is when I started. I used to be a Democrat. This is when my mind started to blow open. Is like, why are the people that are supposedly for free speech blocking opposing opinions on a college campus, and the people that are supposed to be protecting it beating the shit out of people that want to hear it? Was very weird. The Proud Boys, I remember kind of coming up and coming across you was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like it was this kind of thing like, hey, you want to go speak at an event, you want to do it, Antifa's going to attack you, we're going to kind of protect
Yeah,
you.
it was a voluntary
Right.
security force. And ask Ann Coulter about Proud Boys. They've saved her many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, there was one moment where she was at a restaurant and one of the staff was Antifa, and she called her friends, the staff member. This was in California, and Antifa showed up to, who knows what they're going to do to her?
Yeah.
Probably beat the shit out of her.
Yeah.
And Ann happened to have like 5 Proud Boys sitting at the table. Antifa came up the stairs. They saw that there was these big blue collar dudes with tattoos, and they went, not worth it, and
Yeah.
left. Who knows what they would have done to Ann?
Absolutely.
And that's what Proud Boys are about. Now, when Enrique Tarrio took over, they got really into rallying, but you know, they never picked a fight. It was always someone else picking a fight. But I'm telling you, that one day, someone decided, and even that night, the cops didn't press charges because Antifa told the pigs to fuck off, and it was dead that night. We all went out and had beers.
Yeah.
The next day, Bill de Blasio, Cuomo, the DA, everyone is saying hate, and they had the same verbiage, which is unusual.
CIA talking points, we call them.
Yeah, it said hate has no place in our town.
Right.
Every single person had those same words.
Mhm.
And the next thing you know, they're
like
off to
hate
jail.
has no place in our town. So let's run them out with
Ruin their lives.
pitchforks and, you know,
I thought
run
you were
them
about
out of
tolerance.
town with pitchforks.
Yeah.
Right. And the narrative became Proud Boys prowl the streets looking to beat up anyone they disagree with, like trans or some old
Never happened.
Jewish lady or some lesbian walking home with her
Yeah.
groceries.
Yeah.
Like a cartoonish narrative,
Yeah, and people
but
bought
it
it.
stuck. And then, you know, they vandalized my home and my car and, you know, put signs all over the streets. And
No, you
they
were
would,
unpersoned
They would stand out
overnight,
at my
yeah.
house in Sieg Heil
Yeah.
to my home.
Because they're Nazis.
Yeah. Well, they're
Only Nazis Sieg Heil. I mean, you don't go to nobody's house in Sieg Heil unless you're a Nazi.
Yeah.
Only Nazis Sieg Heil. There's no parodying that horse shit.
That's
I
true.
love that they try to hide behind that.
That's a good point.
Sieg Heil. Okay. Like when what's his face, the fucking dipshit from Florida with the, what's his name, David somebody with the shooting. He wore a black,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is what Disney came after me
The gay kid.
they
at
fucking
Parkland.
monitored my Twitter. He wore a fucking, the gay kid. He wore a black armband and had his arm up like this. And I was on my show, The Reboot, and I tweeted, this is a Nazi, I'm a Jew. This is a Nazi salute with a black armband. Are you shitting me, Democrats?
oh, David Hogg?
David
Yeah.
Hogg. Yeah.
Right.
CIA.
So I get a
father was
call
in the
from
CIA.
Bob Iger's office.
Mhm.
We want you to take that tweet down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you are defending somebody who's giving the Sieg Heil? And
Well-
it was like week after week of that until I
He-
just couldn't fucking
He
take it.
To be fair, he wasn't. Go
Huh?
ahead. I said to be fair, he wasn't doing the Sieg Heil. You caught a picture because I did look into this. You're not wrong though, because he is trying.
The picture I seen
Yeah.
looked just like the Sieg Heil, and there wasn't nothing on there saying we disavow. Like, you know how they're always telling Trump, disavow these people of Charlottesville. Well,
Yeah.
there wasn't no disavowing of David Hogg in a Nazi salute with a black armband, Mr. Bob
my point is,
Iger
remember
at
when they used to
Disney?
say this was white power, the OK symbol, and we were all like, and even though it was just an OK symbol, he could have just been pointing. My point is, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying David Hogg is trying to disarm Americans, which is very Nazi. So he is clearly a Nazi. His
Yeah,
dad was
so
in
the
CIA.
fucking UN troops
Right.
under WHO, which they just passed, can come in and say these people are not only racist, but they're infected with some sort of a disease,
Yep.
and we need to access the U.S. military to arrest them and put them in detention camps, which is the next thing Biden's going to do. And I cannot believe that they are letting him sit up there on his crazy ass. And he just wrote that one today. I'm appalled.
I don't know if you saw this, Gavin. Let me make sure you're set properly, though, real quick.
I want to go small.
What you missed, Gavin? Let me just. I do.
I didn't sit in a new spot.
Yeah, you're a little higher. A little
You can tell I'm high. You can tell I did a line when I was out there.
Yeah.
higher. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Is it on my nose?
Are you sober?
No.
Oh, thank God.
No.
I don't.
Thank God. I hate sobers.
You missed.
They make
the
me
David
uncomfortable.
They're nothing but quitters. That's what I say.
Hogg. Okay, so you missed the David Hogg thing, but the Biden thing you're talking about, you tweeted out today, is really, really terrifying. Did you see this?
No.
It's. I don't know if it's an
I
executive.
told them.
Okay.
But what they don't know is what they don't know, the left who are idiots,
Yeah.
they don't understand that their thing that Biden signed with empowering the WHO to use the U.S. military to arrest the great unwashed racist right wing.
Yeah.
What they're really doing, it's a black genocide. That's what they're doing. It's eugenesis, and they're doing a black genocide in America.
Like they do with abortion.
Yeah.
Well, it's a genocide of. I mean, they're going to take out whoever they want.
It's a eugenesis thing. They gotta replace the working class that wants days off and benefits.
Yeah.
That's in their way.
He authorized the military, right? To
That's what
work
he
with the WHO.
authorized.
Yeah.
The UN to use the U.S. military against citizens all over the world who might be infected with who knows what.
they don't clarify,
Bird flu, it don't even say.
which is scary because they can just say you're infected and round you up, martial law.
But
and
that can't fly. That's going to be appealed. I
Well,
assume.
what they don't know is that, thank God, they preemptively passed the reversal of the Chevron.
Yeah, we have a lot to get into. That's why I'm glad
That
Gavin's
is
here.
so great because that took away the power from all unelected bureaucrats.
Yeah.
That's what I want Americans to know. So that won't stand. Fuck
Let's-
you, it won't stand. This is America, that shit won't stand. Do you hear me?
Especially post trucker convoy, which I know is Canada, but I think the trucker convoy showed the working man that you don't have to tolerate this. And we're seeing this with the farmers in the Netherlands and France, where they go, no, I'm not stopping. I'm not going to switch to electric, and I'm not throwing my milk away. In fact, I'm going to launch 600 tons of feces at your building.
Yeah.
So, it's a rough metric. I'm talking about hundreds of millions of people, but I really feel like the working class in the Western world has said, yeah, I'm done with the lies. I'm done with throwing out my raw milk. I'm done with these random bureaucrats,
I'm
telling
done
me.
with being over-policed in a land that's supposed to be about liberty. Fuck you.
Yeah, like the Bundy Ranch. That was the first
Yeah.
first
Obama
ones
did
to
that.
stand up to bureaucrats.
Obama stole their land to sell the oil to friggin' Russia, the uranium. I mean, people in America don't even know. They're allergic to fact. I always say they're bullshit addicts. They gotta have their bullshit, and it matters more to them than the lives of their children.
You know what I love about the Bundy Ranch? The government always says, you want to fight the government with what? Your random rifles, your 22? They go, you need F-14s to fight
That's
us.
what Biden said.
Yeah.
And the Bundy Ranch was a ragtag group of 15-year-olds and 105-year-olds with random guns, shotguns, whatever.
Landowners, American landowners.
They lined up against the National Guard, and Obama went, "This is going to look bad if anything goes down. I'm out."
Well,
And they won.
Look at the insurgency in Iraq or Afghanistan. Like, that's what my argument's always like. You're going to need F-14. It's like, you guys couldn't even win in fucking Iraq or Afghanistan or.
Look at the American Revolution.
I was going to say British.
We hid in the trees.
Yeah, English were like, well, you can't stop us with your little rifles.
Because
And
we observed that's how the Indians fought.
guerrilla warfare goes a long way, and also just fighting, And if you're 10,000, 100,000. They have to deal with you. So it's not when they say you need a tank.
Guerrilla warfare is such a great subject that I'd love to discuss.
I can get into it all day.
Maybe I need to discuss it with a Torah student though, because everybody who crossed the Bering Straits, is one of the 12 tribes of Israel. The Indians in America. So it's like this genetic memory that they can't destroy, and it's being pieced together right now, and it's very exciting. People have no idea of this realm of stuff that's going on because they're all down here in the shit bottom.
Yeah.
But there's something else wonderful going on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wish Americans understood how little it takes. You don't have to be Chuck Norris.
No shit.
Just say,
you
like,
can
if
be
there's
a fat old grandma.
Exactly. If there's a drag queen story hour in your town, just show up and go, yeah, this isn't happening here. Yeah. And they will shut it down. You don't have to bomb anyone. You don't need bombs.
I know how to destroy the motherfucker. I says, I'm calling up. I'm going to dress up like a man and read the Bible to school kids.
Yeah. We'll shut you down in 10 minutes.
And I'm going to get paid for it too.
Isn't that
I'm going to
interesting?
as they make 26,000 K for that repulsive soiree performance.
That's what the drag queens get paid at Story Hour?
26K for a repulsive soiree.
Paid by the taxpayers.
Isn't it funny how it's always
to
drag
have people
queens?
stick their ass in your face? Because you know how it wasn't enough that people go, hey, the emperor's naked. The son of a bitch, he's naked.
Yeah.
That wasn't enough.
It's a stripper. He's dressed like a stripper.
Yeah.
Why is it?
No,
I would say this.
It's
Why is
not
it,
enough.
You have to just
why is it never a drag king?
You have to get loud.
Off his horse. Well,
You gotta
I'm the first
force
drag
your way
king.
in.
Why is it
I
never?
did that on the Roseanne show, the first drag
She told me
king.
I interrupted her last week. It's my favorite
Shut
story.
up, both of you.
It's my favorite moment of all time.
I'm saying, what was I saying?
I don't know. He was trying to say something. And
I was going to say something, and it was a funny joke, damn it. It was a good joke.
Well, while you think about it, you were saying that.
Well, I was streaming. This isn't a good joke, but it's an observation. Why do they not have drag kings reading to kids? That's
Bible.
a woman in a suit with a Bible, with a mustache. If it's
what
about
I'm gonna
showing
do.
kids that gays are normal, then why not have some lesbians in a suit with a mustache? No, they never do that. 'Cause
How
it's about
about
sex.
having a
Well said.
post-sexual grandmother?
Are you post-sexual?
Hell's fucking yeah, bitch.
It's not what you said to me in the other room.
I did not. No, I'm totally post-sexual.
Okay.
I am 72 years old, and here's what I know. I'm not going to take any of them whore hormones. Whore hormones is what I say. All my girlfriends were starting to think right. They were thinking a lot about God, taking care of their grandchildren, leaving something good behind. But no, they was bothered by a dry vagina because their husbands was all on Viagra and Cialis, getting the big boner when they're too old to be having sex. Let's be real. The old men are too fucking old to be having sex with their weak sperm to impregnate anyone and create a fucking second-rate human that's all fucked up.
Right. Women older.
Their
What are we
sperms
supposed to
is
do with
too
these
old.
boners? I turned 54 today.
I
Should I
have
not be
just
fucking?
invented the
54 is okay.
anti-boner pill
Nancy
for the
Pelosi?
old for the older woman to put into her husband's orange juice.
All right,
It's called Bon Voyage.
Bravo. That's
I
in the
don't
act.
want
Come
that.
to San Antonio, 6th, 7th, and 8th for more of that.
I don't want that.
But you're right, though. It's never women in drag because they're not as statistically.
It's got to be sexual.
They're not as predatory
And
to children.
My kid's teacher, my 11-year-old teacher, was talking about gays
But
and
that's
stuff.
getting possessed,
She's
you know?
just gonna.
I'm like postmenopausal. I'm 72. I look back now and I go, for the larger part of my life as a woman, I was totally obsessed with going for the cock.
That's a clip. That's a clip.
You were a cockaholic?
We all are. That's why we put on the makeup and fucking go on a diet and shit.
But were you big on fellatio? I understand Jews don't do blowjobs.
That's only when they're married. Ma, there's a lot of things getting us: credit card debt, being sick, being shot at by the CIA, whatever, you name it. But another thing a lot of people are dealing with on top of credit card debt is back owed taxes, because you get taxed so much. And we come from California, so I think you get taxed like 97% or something to pay for Gavin Newsom's hair products or whatever it is.
Yeah.
A lot of people owe a lot of money. Even good Americans that pay taxes can't even afford the tax payment. That's what a back payment tax is. It's another crushing debt that can ruin your life.
Hey, have you ever heard of a thing called the Declaration of Independence, son?
I read about it in school from a drag queen when I was a kid. No, I'm
Really?
kidding. No, they didn't read that. They were trying to groom me
Well,
sexually.
didn't we break away from our imperialist oppressors over being taxed way too much?
I thought so, yeah.
But you know what? A lot of good that did us, right?
Tell the people more.
Okay, guys, do you owe back taxes? Because pandemic relief is now over. Along with hiring thousands of new agents and field officers, the IRS has kicked off 2024 by sending over 5 million pay-up letters to those who have unfiled tax returns or balances owed. Don't waive your rights and speak with them on your own. They are not your friends if you haven't figured that out yet. They are not your friends. Tax Network USA, a trusted tax relief firm, has saved over $1 billion in back taxes for their clients. And they can help you secure the best deal possible. Whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, they can help you. Whether it's business or personal taxes, even if you have the means to pay or if you're on a fixed income, they can help finally resolve your tax burdens once and for all. I mean, we're really lucky that there is help like this.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just
There's
so
enough.
corrupt and there's not a lot we can do, so we need all the help we can find. Call 1-800-245-6000 for a private free consultation.
Yeah.
Or visit tnusa.com/RB. That's tnusa.com/RB.
They do to get you married. They're very good at it, actually.
That's what they say.
Well, it's also true. I'm married to a Jewish girl. I can attest.
That is true. And same with the Filipinas.
They don't blow?
Huh? No, a dear friend of mine is Filipina and has introduced me to many lovely Filipinas, the most gorgeous women on earth.
I like them
And
because
they
they're
are
like
very
Asians
much-
with an ass. They're
Yeah.
the Italians of the Orient.
Yeah. They got a good ass. And they're beautiful and they're very smart. They're very Jewish, is what I see.
They're actually more manipulative and worse than Jewish
But
women,
you've got
let's be
to
honest.
get the guy, and the only way to get the guy, it's all,
Gotta
that's
put
what
out.
it's about. The sweet sayings. What would you like? A croissant with chili?
Can you do your Filipino accent while you do this, please?
No, Linda will.
It's the best.
Okay, I'll
It'll
try to
help.
do it for Linda, huh?
Yeah, it'll help. It's the story.
Well,
hour.
Linda, she's been with me 30 years, and I love her like a sister. And she manipulated me into building her Filipino family a huge mansion over there in the Philippines, which I was happy to do because I love her.
How much
She
does that
helped me
cost
raise my son.
$50.
It don't matter. 50
you? 240 grand.
Yeah.
But anyways, what am I talking about, Jake?
Filipinos.
Filipinas.
Oh, yeah, they're
blowing
just
their
like
way
the
to the
Jewish.
top.
Well, you
gonna
blow
get-
your way to the middle. Jews and Filipinos can only blow their way to the middle.
I see. I'm glad you brought up Jews because I want to hear what you think of the JQ, the
What's
Jewish
that?
question.
What's that? What does
Oh,
that
this
mean?
is going to be.
Whether
I've
we
waited to
should
talk to you
live
for
or
years.
not?
Oh God,
You
No,
mean the
the-
Hitler's
the-
final solution?
this is about to
Jewish
get
question?
really, really
So
good.
the
or
far
really, really bad.
right, the Groyper Fuentes right.
What's Groyper? I've heard that word.
Groypers are like basically anti-Semitic conservatives.
Yeah.
Groypers. We
Groypers.
just call them Goyim.
Alt-rightards, I call them.
Their contention is that all these bad things that are happening are part of a Jewish conspiracy.
Which is true.
And there are a disproportionate number of Jews in this sort of anti-American media, Hollywood, politics.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so what if there's 40 million? You know, there's not 40 million Jews, thanks to
Not anymore.
people like them. But there's only 14
14.
million of us now after 2,000 years of persecution and death. And, you know, the witch burnings were very much against Jewish women, but they don't want us to know that.
I never knew that.
I know, because Rome is a liar and is of Satan.
But I thought we were talking about Salem.
Let's get back to the thing, huh? What are you asking?
I
me?
have a feeling you're more anti-Semitic than me. I'm kind of known as a Jew ass kisser because my contention is whites have this ethno-masochism where they feel like they're too successful and they want to eradicate themselves. And Jews are exceptional whites. So when they do good, they do exceptional good. When they do bad, they do exceptional bad. Like there's a pill you can take right now that films your body and you shit it out, and it's a colonoscopy in reverse.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's an Israeli invention.
Oh, yeah, they're all crazy.
Jews
with
are
the shit
wildly
they're doing.
overrepresented in medicine and mathematics and science.
Well, like I say, it's
Sorry, Indians.
amazing that the Jewish mind, and well, you know, this is a huge thing, and we will talk about it, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show, and why I had AJ, what's he called? What's his other word?
Dream Rare.
Anomaly.
Anomaly, yeah.
And
Well, I know
other
that dude.
people
He's
who,
a friend of ours.
you know,
He's friends with Jake Shields, who's now like the supreme Nazi on the internet.
Yeah, I'm friends with Jake Shields too.
I
I'm
can't
friends
stand
with Nazis.
Me too. I attack Jake Shields
disagree.
over- Yeah.
no, but what they need to know.
Let's settle this now.
Yeah,
once and
I'm
for
here
all.
to say I'm the motherfucker.
The end of the JQ.
Well, what is the Jewish question? What does that mean? Like,
Yeah, what does that mean?
what is the actual
The
question?
I gotta
JQ is,
smoke.
are Jews responsible for the destruction of Western society?
Right. And what is the theory behind that? Is that they're moving
So
Muslims into
they are
Europe?
so scared of a Fourth Reich and a World War III that they foment dissent in order to keep us fighting each other and
Right.
you know, have our women date black guys and get beat up.
Yeah, I've heard all this, and they're in porn. And I've also heard they're responsible for moving Muslims into Europe.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
What
it's
is
all
that
part of
about?
a Western sabotage
Mhm.
to ensure that whites don't start congregating, organizing, and creating another Nazi party.
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
But that's the thing. Like every time I talk to Jews about this kind of stuff, smart Jews, Orthodox Jews, they go,
Can I
there's some.
Can I just
no,
point
that's
this?
100% true.
It's untrue. It is.
It's all 100% true, but that's why I'm here, because I'm going to fix it
Well, hold on.
for everybody.
Please, this is a really.
Because
You got to let me
people
talk.
need to know the track they're on, and then they'll make the right choice or not. If you don't make the right choice, see ya. You ain't going to make it.
Here's what needs to be said real quick. That is true.
And I love
You
Christian
have to fight
non-Jews.
on the show, Gavin.
I have always loved them, hence my show. I loved them because I grew up with them, and God loves them, and a lot of them loves the Jews, you know, the
Well,
real Jews.
Your beliefs are strange. You're a Jew.
I'm a Jew. That's why they're
But you
strange.
believe that Jesus performed miracles.
You don't even know the first thing about Jesus, honey, and when I tell you, the top of your head's going to blow off.
I'm glad I'm wearing a hat.
Before you go there, you got to
Because he
say one
is
thing.
more than what you think.
Yeah. Before we do this,
Much more.
please, can I have to say one thing, and then I won't talk again. The Jewish
Yes,
question.
he will. He'll butt in.
No, I'm not butting.
He won't talk for like 5 minutes.
Watch
I hope.
this. The Jew question, the Soros Jew, all the stuff you're talking about. I'm going to blow your mind too. Soros is not actually a Jew. He's
That's
not
what I say.
practicing Jew. He doesn't keep Sabbath.
No, we say Gino.
Listen, she'll never.
It's Gino.
There are-
Jews in
Gino, yeah.
name only.
They are different kinds of Jews.
They were bred.
That's
There's
what
different
the
kinds of
Groypers,
blacks.
including Fuentes, don't understand.
That's what I'm
There's
trying to
a
get at.
They were
massive,
bred-
and you talked about this.
This
There's
is
a
important.
civil
They
war
were bred
within the
over
Jewish community.
1,000 years in Europe and Russia
To say
in camps
right.
by eugenicists to
Right.
be self-destructive, self-defeatist. And it's like, how do you destroy? But it goes even further back to Exodus. And that's what I'd love to talk to you about, because did you say you believe in the Bible?
Mm-hmm.
It's
You
Catholic.
wasn't giving me any kind of double talk when you said that, were you?
Nope.
You think Exodus is pretty cool, right?
Yes. I don't take the Bible 100% literally. I take it as a lot of metaphors, but I think
Mhm.
that it is the most accurate representation of what God wants us to do.
Yes. Agreed. Once I turn you onto the new numbers of it, it'll blow you away, because it's all about the information age and computers. It's unbelievable coding done all these many years ago to tell us how we can create just law on this planet for all people. For once, without slavery, without any kind of slavery or war, which is why I love Trump, and we can do it.
Isn't the Tower of Babel God's way of saying don't have social media, don't assimilate, or not the word assimilate, but don't congregate, don't become all one thing? Like the Tower of Babel to me is anti-globalization. Soros is a big globalist. He wanted everyone to speak that stupid Esperanza language.
Yes.
It's all one language. That's the Tower of Babel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Globalists want us all to be the same.
Right.
And I think God wants us all to be as unique as possible.
Absolutely.
As Mao said, let 1,000 flowers bloom.
Yes.
Well, what the globalists want is a genderless, unthinking slave who will be
Eat
the
bugs.
perfect,
Yeah.
will eat bugs, own
Surf.
nothing, be happy, and work for what, 21 cents an hour from a prison cell that they disguise as an apartment?
Mm-hmm.
Hello. I
Smart
mean, these
cities.
people are so, here's the thing. They are so privileged that they actually believe the people they oppress regard a prison cell as a step up in life.
Mm.
That's their shit. That's their fucking satanic programming. But they're not going to win. God's going to win. God already
Yes,
did
I
win.
agree. I think he's winning. The assassination attempt was an example of
Yeah,
God saying, all right, I've had enough.
We got to talk about this.
We got to fix this.
Oh, we'll talk about that, but let's take a
But
cigarette.
you seem to be
I
like,
know
Do
you
need to
smoke a lot, and you probably
just go,
need a cigarette.
just smoke or go smoke. I
you
don't.
seem like a Judeo-phile, whatever you call it, a philo-Semite, and also
What's that?
anti-Semitic at the same time.
No, I'm not. I'm a Torah student, and I read what Torah tells us about our history and what we are to do. It's not what any of these rabbis say.
You really got to explain this better, because this is an important
Okay,
thing. No,
but
hold
can
on.
I have a cigarette first?
Just
and
go
then
slow.
I
Yes,
will
let's have a
explain.
cigarette.
I mean,
I know you smoke like
I
a
love
fiend.
smoking.
just go
I
smoke
use
in
my
here.
foreskin, but
you
it's
can
still
smoke in
smoking.
here, Mom. Go get. You can smoke in here. I don't want to ruin the podcast. One time.
Thanks to Mr. Gavin M.
Go get your cigarettes. We'll I don't want to stop recording because it makes editing a
Gavin?
nightmare.
Can I shoot up heroin?
You can. You could have done that anyway. I just don't like
It
smoking.
doesn't smell.
That's why I don't mind it.
I thought
I
you
mean,
were
when I
gonna
cook it
say-
on the spoon, there's a bit of a smell.
Have you ever done heroin?
Yep.
You mother son of a gun.
Go get your cigarettes,
I'm
please.
getting my
Mom.
cigs.
All right,
Okay.
we're gonna take a little break, but I gotta just tell you, chug that. That's good. Bring an ashtray too, so you don't fucking ash on your really expensive
How
couch.
do you like this, the old lady? Look at my
Oh my god. All right, we'll wait for you. But I just got to say this because this needs to be on tape. This is like, I fight with fucking Jake Shield, and then he never responds to me. This Jewish question shit, I see it every fucking day. How can white people, and I've followed you for a long time, and I understand, like, what we're saying as white men a lot of times is you're generalizing us. We're general. We're not all whites the same. And it's like we get upset when they're like, white people are all racist, and we're like, we're not all racist. Why is that not afforded by the Fuentes team
I think
with Jews? Let me just ask you the question. Okay. Why is that not afforded? It's like, you're a Jew, therefore everything I know everything about. It's like, you can't do that. You can't say my mom said this on the podcast. You can't say the blacks. You can't say that it's racist. But the Jews, everyone can say the Jews. There's a million different kinds of Jews.
Well, you still get in a lot of trouble for criticizing Jews.
Well, it depends on the Jew. My mom gets criticized all the time. You don't know, she never got anyone in trouble.
I mean, there was a lot of people got fired for supporting October 7th.
Yeah.
But I've been around Jews, like the most Hasidic Jews are in Mile End in Montreal, upstate New York, and Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That's where I've spent my adult life since I was 18.
Right.
So I've been surrounded by not just Jews, but like
my mom
Jews,
got fired for saying Muslim
Jews.
Brotherhood, right?
So I think the reason that you have people making these gross generalizations about the Jays is they don't know the Jays.
I think it's
like,
first
I was
level.
in Nashville. I was in South Carolina recently, and I was like, so what do the Jews think about this? And I realized I'm in a room with people that have never met one Jew ever.
Right. Yeah.
They're not coming from New York and Montreal.
Yeah.
Like Jews and gays are 40% of the population.
Yeah.
It's just part of your world. And then you go to Nashville and they've never met a Jew or a gay.
But my point is, my mom got fired for saying Muslim Brotherhood. There's people getting fired today, which I'm not for, saying that they wish the sniper didn't miss. I don't know if you've been watching.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not for cancel culture at all. But my point is, if you say anything that offends the establishment, you're going to get axed. Like my mom, it's not just Jews that you're critical of. In fact, right now, the only people you really can't be critical of, and I say this every week, is the Muslim Brotherhood. That's where I get in trouble on. We got demonetized on YouTube. I could still talk shit about Jews a little bit more. And I'm not trying to play the oppression Olympics. I'm just saying I think everybody has a claim that if you go after this group, you're going to get in trouble. And I don't know why.
You know what's ironic? A disproportionate number of Jews created that culture.
No, they did. But those are leftist American.
I don't want to say Jews created cancel culture, but
they did.
But agnostic, secular Jews are wildly disproportionately represented in cancel culture. And my neighbors are all Jews. They hate my guts. They put signs on my lawn, all that stuff. And one of them came up to me recently, Star of David around her neck, and I'm known as the David Duke of my community. And
Congrats.
She goes, I got to ask you something as someone who's politically vocal. And her husband saw her talking to me, and he's like, why are you talking to Hitler?
David Duke, yeah.
And I go, I'm loving this. This was right after, not like when the encampments were all over the universities. And I go, I'm loving this. This is Gollum. You guys created a monster.
Yeah.
You talked about MAGA extremists and you said they're Nazis. And I look out at these protests and I don't see one red baseball hat anywhere.
Right.
I'll tell you what I do see. I see the students that you indoctrinated with your Marxist bullshit.
Yeah.
And I see the refugees that you welcomed with open arms.
Right.
I didn't really say you, I said the left.
Yeah. But that's the Jewish left.
But it was a big part of it. So I feel very vindicated this year.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
This is the year of vindication.
I agree. For a lot of us. I just want to be really clear. An American leftist Jew, if you go to Israel for 2 hours, they're MAGA, right? They're conservative.
But there's also
there's every kind.
Super secular Jews that hate the wall and don't want Israel. This is another thing that the far right doesn't get. Go to Israel. Like, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
And you'll meet, like, Haaretz, I think is the newspaper there. They have Antifa writing for them.
Yeah.
They hate Jews.
No, they have the same problem we have here.
You read the media in Israel,
I know.
And it's way more anti-Semitic than anything you've ever read here.
I agree.
David Duke would fucking
have
love
an editorial
Tel
on-
Aviv.
Yeah.
He would be right, and he'd have tons of friends.
But Tel Aviv's like Austin, Texas.
Yeah, totally.
So the city centers are always going to be more liberal. But my point is, a Jew, I want to get this out, and then we'll let Mom go back, because I've wanted to talk to you for years.
I want to talk to you for years.
Israeli Jews on the whole, we're speaking in generalities, and American leftist Jews are not the same person, which is why me and my mom do this podcast together. We're Jews. And this is one of the most like domestic terroristy pro-MAGA podcasts I've ever seen. I mean, the shit we say, we've already been demonetized. We've been bound, but we're Jews. And I'm talking to Jake. Jake Shields was actually on the show at one point. And I doubt he would. But when I
He
look at
would.
his, I don't know.
He's like me. He has theories. Like with this shooter,
Yeah.
my theory is that it was just gross incompetence.
Yeah.
And that was malicious in the sense that Mayorkas knew that turning the Secret Service into the Secret Cervix is going to put Trump's life in jeopardy. He didn't give a shit. But as far as handpicking that shooter, I don't believe that. But he could be wrong. And the Jake Shields is the same way with all his Jew shit. He's like, I chose this side.
But he also put a picture of the shooter with a yarmulke that was debunked. Like, it wasn't even the guy. So it's like, that's the kind of stuff that drives me crazy.
I think Jake is surrounded with Muslim fighters, and they're cool.
Yeah.
So he's like, I like these guys.
I love Jake. I do like that. And a lot of times I like a lot of what he says. I'm just pointing out, like, to sit there and be like this cool dude, Jake Shields, like, I'm a maverick. I stand up for shit. Like, I'm with you. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I've made up my mind here. Now I'm going to generalize people. And now I'm going to spread disinformation. It's like, whoa. I thought we were all cool and we were open-minded. It's not coming from a Jew. This is coming from
I think Jake has kind of got a Southerner mentality, and this is the impetus for the Civil War in many ways. If you say to a Southerner, you got to brush your teeth twice a day.
Yeah. They're not.
Don't be like, fuck you. I'm never brushing my teeth ever again.
Yeah.
So Jake's not really politically motivated.
I don't think so.
He's not into geopolitics.
No.
But someone has told him he can't say that. And now he's like, fuck you.
And I get that.
I'll say that all I want, bitch.
I'm Roseanne's kid. I love that spirit. I just think, like, let me put it this way and then we'll change the subject. There's levels of understanding. There's level of being awake, not woke, awake. You know, like I said, I've been a fan of yours for a long time. There's certain things people say now that we were talking about 8 years ago. I was a part of Gamergate, for Christ's sakes. Like, I go way back. I see Jake Shields and a lot of people that talk like him, especially the Jew stuff. It's not that I disagree with it. I see it as like first level. Like, you're just kind of looking at the Matrix. Yeah, Jews are involved.
I get what you're saying.
Like, there's more. What you're saying. And that's what I kind of.
I sense that. I've been an immigration nigga forever. Yeah. And I can smell rookies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to call Jake a rookie, but I think you're kind of right about that.
Yeah.
And when I smell a rookie with immigration, I go, how many illegals are there?
Yeah.
One time a lesbian said to me, 80 billion.
Wow.
She said there's
Was that my mom earlier? 60 billion died of the vaccine, remember? Remember my mom? Yeah. She smoked a joint before the show.
She said, someone said 80 billion. My dad's a mathematician, and I said, Dad, can you tell me how many people could fit in America?
Yeah.
And he's like, he calls me back. He's like, all right, can I freeze water? Can I freeze lakes? And he worked on it for days. He's like, see, the inherent problem I get into is sky rises.
Wow.
Right? See, I got these skyscrapers coast to coast. Now I need arable land for food.
Right.
So how's it work with farms? Am I allowed to import food? What if we only imported food from abroad and it was just wall-to-wall skyscrapers? Then I could get a fuck ton more than 80 billion in here.
80 billion, wow.
He was getting into 800 billion. But anyway, I always say to rookies with immigration, I recently realized Ellis Island was open for about 60 years. They let in 12 million people, vetted them very hard.
Over 60 years was 12 million?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't.
You got pink eye, you get out of here.
Yeah.
If you don't have a letter from someone who lives in America saying, Jake's awesome, he's a really good hard worker, you're out of here. Bye, go. Oh. Process them all. There's a big slogan that says, be loyal as you walk out after your papers are processed. Biden has let in on the books 7 million.
Yeah.
Let's say it's 10. By the time he leaves, we could easily get to 12. That's Ellis Island.
Yeah, in 3 years? 4 years.
In 5 years, basically?
Yeah.
4 years, you're right, sorry. That's all. And Ellis Island built America.
Yeah, we're fine with immigration.
We had nothing. And then we said, all right, let's open the doors to Europe. We brought in all the Germans, all the Italians.
The Irish.
The Germans built the Midwest. The Italians built the Northeast. The Irish built the Northeast. We created this country. And then we said, all right, that's enough. We're good.
Yeah.
That was 12 million. Biden's incompetence. So anyway, if you don't know that shit, then I don't want to talk to you about immigration.
Have you guys heard about this new superfood that seems almost too good to be true? It's got thousands upon thousands of 5-star reviews and literally life-changing testimonials from users. Armra colostrum is a proprietary concentrate that harnesses over 400 living bioactive nutrients that strengthen the barriers of your body and fuel cellular health for thousands of research-backed health benefits. It strengthens immunity, ignites metabolism, fortifies gut health, activates hair growth, Jake,
I just wear a hat.
skin
It's not
radiance,
working.
powerful fitness performance and recovery,
Clearly that.
and it confers powerful anti-aging benefits. Arm Raw colostrum is premium bovine colostrum concentrate.
That's what I grew up on.
You're an ass face.
Comic genius. That just hit me. That's hilarious.
That is funny.
Thank you. Sorry.
I kind of do have two stomachs now since I got that phobia bypass. I'm a total kosher animal. Armra starts with sustainably sourced colostrum from grass-fed cows from our co-op of dairy farms in the USA. So these are American cows on top of. This is the high-quality colostrum.
This is good stuff, and it's ethically sourced. Very important because a lot of people freak out when they hear it. It's done well,
and
no
that
one gets hurt.
strictly abide by the calf first sourcing.
Right.
That's what ethically sourced means.
Yeah, cow gets the.
Yeah, no
thing.
calf is being starved to get this. It comes from surplus milk. That's what's ethically sourced because they're not taking nothing away from the babies.
That's
This
right.
is the extra, the extra surplus milk. We've worked out a special offer for my audience. You can receive 50% off on your first order. Go to tryarmorock.com/RB or enter RB to get 15% off of your first order. That's tryarmorock.com/RB.
The numbers that Biden's putting up for the border, there's no vetting. There's clearly no vetting process, right?
It's almost the opposite of
Yeah.
vetting. My wife and daughter were in Mexico City recently, and I didn't go with them. I haven't been there in a very long time, but they go, it's Tokyo. It's Zurich.
Yeah.
Like the stray dogs are well fed and have no bald patches.
Right.
I'm sure there's bad areas. There's MS-13, whatever. But it is absolutely spotless. They had the opposite of a brain drain. They're not sending their best. They're sending rapists. They're sending murderers. And they are.
Yeah, no, of course.
So we're getting, and not just the worst of Mexico. We're getting the worst of Sri Lanka, the worst of the Congo, the worst of
The Middle
everywhere.
East. No, of course. And no vetting whatsoever. And if it's 15 million, right? Let's say 10 million for sake of argument.
Okay.
If half of 1% of those are dangerous people, what is the number on that? 500,000? I'm bad at math.
We're seeing that now.
50,000?
We're seeing these girls get raped to death.
Yeah. That's the I could go off.
And what's Biden's response? He goes, well, yeah, Trump's talking about, well, I'm doing Bill Clinton for some reason, but Trump's talking about all these immigrants that are getting raped, but he doesn't recognize that the majority of victims of sexual assault are in-laws and brothers and sisters. What?
Yeah.
I called my wife on my show.
Yeah.
And I go, did my dad rape you? And then I called my dad. I go, did you rape my fucking wife? Because I'm going to be furious if you did. In-laws?
And what's his argument?
How many people have been raped by their in-laws? 17 in world history?
But what's his argument that those rapes don't count?
This is what he's thinking of, like molestation.
Okay.
And yes, they tend to be a family member, like an uncle or a cousin or someone who the family knows.
Like a
So
showering.
that's the stat that entered his ear.
Right.
And then it got garbled in his garbage brain and it came out as in-laws and brothers and sisters.
So he hadn't showered with this. Oh, they're going to try and.
Roseanne's got, you
Yeah.
got COVID?
No, Biden's got COVID. Biden just got COVID. The Democrat primary.
No
has been
way.
delayed.
Are you
All right, come
joking?
sit down and tell us about this. This is breaking news. Although by the time this airs, it won't be. Anyway, thank you. We're
They're
we're
going
just
to
shooting the
use
shit.
that to take him out.
Well, that's the thing today. We have
Are
so
you
much
lying?
to talk
Are you
about.
joking?
Do you know today he actually said, if I have a medical condition, I will consider stepping down. That came out
But
today.
he said that a long time ago too.
But when I say came out, that's become through the CIA talking points on X. That's been populating on everybody's feed because I saw it. And yes, it is an older.
So bad.
It doesn't matter when
This
it's
is
said.
like when we declared we won Vietnam. I'm really sick. I can't be president anymore. Who the fuck is going to believe that?
Well,
Democrats.
He's going to
Here,
use this to
bring
leave
your
the
mic in,
presidency.
Mom, bring your mic to your. Did you have a good smoke?
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
You feel better?
You look great for someone who's been smoking for half a century.
No, I've only been doing it for a few months.
It goes on and off. It's not straight.
I quit for a real long
Did you
time.
love it when that meme about Madonna went
Yeah.
all over?
I thought it was funny, but then I saw her when she did her world tour, her Cher's final world tour, the 57th goodbye tour. And I thought she looked pretty good, although she did have kind of a vampire look to her with the high
You've never had
cheekbones.
any work done.
Yes, yes.
Oh my God, are you shitting me? But I was smart
You don't
enough
look
to
like
have
it.
it
She's
done
done
when I
good
was
work.
39.
Yeah.
Because all the experts say if you get it done at 39, it will carry you through to the rest of your life. If you have it done after 39, you'll just look like a pinched monkey.
Also, there's a way to do it. You don't
What did you have done?
face. Oh, I'll let you
Well, I had eyelids made for one thing because,
Made.
because I have very heavy Cossack Asian eyes. Because
Yeah, you're my type.
I
I saw pictures of you when you first got married. I was like, that's my type.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a
Chinky.
good-looking woman.
Yeah.
I like chinky.
We have Mongolian blood.
Yeah, we have Mongolian, kind of Asianish. And so I got my eyelids made, because they was drooping. Like my sister right
drooping.
now, she's what, 5 years younger than me, so she's 68.
Mhm.
Well, her hooded eyes are going right over like her dog's.
Yeah, it's like
just like her dog, huh?
It's like the Sharpay. That's the number one plastic surgery. Did you know that?
Yeah, getting that done. And
Eyelids.
then I got a nose job.
Mhm.
Sarah Gilbert got the nose job first, and I really liked how it de-Judaized her nose. And I didn't realize at the time, I always knew that, I came from some part of Africa, I always knew that.
I see you as a Mongolian.
Well, I have that too,
Yeah.
after we got kicked out of the Middle East. But we come from North Africa. We was there 2,000 years. Then the Romans kicked us out, and we ended up in the Ukraine, Mongolia, and Lithuania.
Okay.
So that's the whole deal there.
The conspiracy. Oh, sorry.
So then I got the eyelids, the nose job, and the facelift.
And a tummy tuck. And a Brazilian butt lift.
I didn't get a Brazilian
Oh,
butt
sorry.
lift.
Didn't
guess that
feel
was-
like it earlier.
No, I got a boob job because I had to get my breast shortened.
Short.
Like the curtain roll up.
Yeah,
They were too long?
yeah, they were way long, and I was rolling them up on a
National
every
Geographic
night.
titties.
Like when you don't have a chip clip and you just roll the
Yeah,
bag
yeah, yeah.
to keep the chips
So I
fresh.
had to get them shortened up, and it cut one of my tattoos right in half. That's what's funny.
Really?
I had a tattoo above my nipple, and they cut off my nipples.
And they
That's
put them
what I
back
told
on.
Oprah because she wanted to get one. She asked me, I go, girl, they cut off your nipples and sew them back up.
You talked to Oprah about this?
Yeah, she wanted to get it,
Are you friends with her? Is she cool?
Well, I used to be friends with her, but,
Yeah.
I got mad because she kept on having all these parties and only women invited was black. And I'm like, fucking, I'm black, you bitch. Nobody's blacker than me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
And I never did get invited, and it pissed me off. Nobody was more revolutionary than me.
I have to
And
agree.
I needed black people's support because I gave them a lot of support. And they gave me a lot of support, but yet they left me out of them big parties. I guess it's good because there's probably sacrificing kids and shit up there.
Well, that's why I don't
Allegedly.
think I don't think that's why you're friends with Oprah anymore, because you didn't want to be part of that Weinstein pipeline, right? Allegedly.
Well, she sort of stole my religious thing off me because she owned my talk show. She took a lot of shit off me. And I found out she allegedly stole a lot of shit off other people that pitched her ideas.
I could see that.
hmm
The reason
She stole own from me, I went to her with the first women's network, me and Gail Zappa,
I remember
Frank Zappa's wife,
Yeah.
for the first Women's Network.
And she turned you down and started her own.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the first Women's
Sounds like
Network
Oprah.
own.
Real quick, that COVID thing, it looks like it's delaying the actual nomination.
That's what I said.
Yeah. I thought you just said that the DNC, like they're going to do it, but they're pushing to not vote on Biden. That's what's going on. That's breaking right now.
Because he's got COVID.
So they're going to delay a vote.
He spilled the beans. I can tell when he said that too. It was like years ago. He said, I'm going to fake an illness or something. You could tell that his staff just went.
Do you know he's still favored to
secret.
win on a lot of polls in the delegate counts? Did you guys know that?
What?
Yeah, he's
I'm not even.
Trump's only 1 percentage point above him.
That's how we know they're cheating. Because this is like I was saying, this is the campaign in history. Biden has the most disastrous campaign we've ever seen, and Trump has the greatest campaign we've ever seen from the fist bump. So it's like compare and contrast, same year, and they're like, man, it's going to be really close, coming down to a coin toss. Like, how fucking much are you cheating?
At this point, I'm not even mad at Biden supporters. I want to meet them. It's like an albino tiger. Like, I want to touch you.
I met one
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, I want to smell
I just
you and
wanna
give you
see
a
if they
carrot
can-
or something.
Which is weird. There's 81 million of them.
What kind of conversation you could have with them?
Yeah, like
You couldn't
I
converse
get that
about
people
much.
don't like Trump. He's a bombastic personality.
Yeah.
I can see people aren't into like Slayer. That's a weird metal band. That's
Yeah.
an acquired taste. But how can you like Muzak? Like, how can you like that guy? What's your favorite? I think it's just the only thing you'll get from them is how much I hate Trump. Like they'll take a chimpanzee over him.
But it's like, why do they? I loved that Tom McDonald thing about why do you hate the idea of making your lives better?
Yeah.
But that they've been so brainwashed. They've been brainwashed and bred to be self-destructive
Yeah. Well, they think
because
we'll be
they
making
are
our
so privileged.
correct. They
And
think
they've fooled themselves into thinking they speak for the people they oppress.
Yeah.
And they think that we'll be making our lives better by enslaving blacks and being racist and being, hurting Mexican families and separating them at the border and all of this injustice. They think we're going to monetize injustice, whereas the opposite is true.
Right.
We'll be monetizing
They
justice.
don't even know that they do that.
Well, they think it's a Trump thing, and it was an Obama thing. And also, that's not their kid. That's a random kid they stole.
Right.
And even if it was their kid, which it never is, if you arrest a cocaine dealer and he's with his
You
4-year-old,
separate the kids.
you guys don't go to jail together. I don't
Right.
know if you understand this concept. I don't want 4-year-olds in male prisons.
Right.
So they broke the law. We can't put the kids with the grown-ups. Obviously, you fucking morons. And this is what I keep saying with everything the left says. I'm like, play it out.
They can't.
Like I just did an interview with BBC.
Well, they don't think. They just receive the talking points.
Well, they're emotional.
Right.
and they're paid to do it. Let's get really real.
Yeah.
Because the left, as I found out when I ran for president of a socialist party, they ain't going to get off their ass unless they're given government money to do it.
Yeah.
I said to them, what are you talking about, pay you? This is the socialist revolution. What are you fucking talking about? You're supposed to do it for free in love of the revolution. They go, you capitalist whore. Now they want to get paid and Soros pays them.
Unbelievable. Can we talk about celebs?
Oh, fuck yeah.
I-
We was going to talk about the Jews, but let's go to
We did the
celebs
Jews.
first.
We could do the Jews.
You didn't do the Jews.
You did the Jews. I'm saying we did the Jews a lot. We can still do it. I'm just saying.
I wanted to talk about.
We have to talk about the
Exodus.
assassination attempt too.
Okay, well, we can do Exodus too, but out of
That's
all
where
the
it comes
celebrities you've met, who are cool, real deals that are like fun to hang out with?
Thanks, babe.
All the Kennedys except Maria Shriver.
Speaking of plastic surgery, isn't it spooky what happened with her?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the scariest looking older people ever.
She didn't even know her husband was having a baby with the maid and bring the baby in the house. It looked just like him for 25 years. Look, the baby looks just like him and the maid.
She's a Kennedy. They're trained to
What
do
a
that.
coincidence.
Yeah.
She didn't even notice it. I remember when she came up to me and scolded me for saying bad shit about my ex-husband, Tom Arnold, after they was in that movie,
True Lies.
or whatever.
Right, yeah.
She gave me a little bit of a scolding there in Hawaii, and I says to her, You weren't married to him.
He's also one of the biggest losers in world history.
Yeah.
I had fun. He kept calling me a Nazi on Twitter. He did a show for Vice, which I gave him a job, basically.
Yeah, you did.
And it was the Trump tapes.
The P tapes.
I
And that's
loved
such a
it.
perfect example of liberal arrogance, where
Yeah.
he's so positive that there's Trump tapes out there of him like having prostitutes pee on him. Meanwhile, the guy's a germaphobe. That's the last thing he.
Yeah, he's a total.
And it was all from the
germaphobe.
Steele dossier that was paid for by the Clintons. Yeah.
And then Vice is dumb enough to give him a show, and the
Right.
show is just like, it's just Geraldo and Al Capone's fucking
Vault.
tomb, the vault.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he never
He's
apologized.
just constantly talking about these tapes that probably exist.
Yeah.
What a dunce! Like you gave a loser a career.
Yeah.
It's sort of like
It's your fault.
I heard
know
Steven.
it's my fault.
Stevens, it is your fault.
Kinda.
You made Tom Arnold.
I know it's.
You
kinda
brought him
sad.
into our lives.
Apologize for that right
Yeah.
now to
I have
America.
apologized for it many times. I was so dysfunctional in my thinking. What I liked was this hardworking guy that worked at Hormel Foods, on a union job and from Iowa and such. Anyways, how was I to know he was a fucking psychopath? I didn't know. Everyone in Hollywood was a psychopath. I couldn't tell one from the other. I was just a girl from Utah.
Yeah, but some of them have some talent. He's like Steven Seagal. I heard Steven Seagal was created as a bet with some Hollywood execs.
I really
I
like
could
Steven
see that.
Seagal because he came on my show, and he gave me a jacket that matched his, and I got to do the whole show with him. And I asked him, how are we going to save the world? And he gave the speech, which made no sense whatsoever. And I go, and I'm in my Steven Seagal jacket, and I go, what he said. But it was so fun. It's like, it was called Roseambo. Roseanne, that one season when they really let me do what I wanted. And she throws terrorists off a train. Because after they win the lottery, they start hanging out with the Kennedys. Because I knew a little bit about the Kennedys, and I had people who were in the Kennedy family that were friends. So I just thought that was the funniest thing in the world, because I had this thing where the Connors go to dinner at the kind of quasi-Kennedy house, and the Kennedys are shocked that that the Connors wear primary colors. There's a lot of class shit, but anyway, I don't even know what
That's
I'm
awesome.
talking about.
Do you think, not to interview you, but do you think that Roseanne winning the lottery was a bad move because it ostracized the blue collar charm?
Well, a lot of people say that, but yet the blue collar people constantly fantasize about winning the lottery.
Right.
So,
It's like the Beverly Hillbillies. They didn't change their personality.
yeah, it was the Beverly Hillbillies. I always wanted to do the Beverly Hillbillies. And like I told you, this new show that I've written, it kind of is the Beverly Hillbillies, because that's the greatest show ever, in my opinion. Plus the Honeymooners.
And Green
But-
Acres.
Huh?
the
And
sister.
Green
Yeah.
Acres. Don't you love... Did you,
I know the Honeymooners intimately. I've never watched one episode of Green Acres.
You have to. You have
it's
to do
the
it right away.
greatest show ever.
Really? I'll check it out.
It's
Check it
from
out.
Beverly Hillbillies. It's the spinoff. They're
Oh,
related.
So who is it? It's the hot
So
chick?
Rich, it's Zsa Zsa Gabor and her husband
Not
Eddie
Jaja,
Eddie
Ava.
Albert. Sorry, Ava. They're rich Manhattan. They moved to the farms. It's the opposite of Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh,
That's
They're
kinda
related.
what
It's
my
a lot
new
of the same
show's
writers.
like.
I'll check it out.
No, it's great. And just one point about the lottery I always like to mention is she is blue collar. We grew up in Denver. She was a housewife. My dad worked at the post office, and she won the fucking lottery.
I know, but people don't like that. Like,
No, I understand, but
there's
that
this
was-
band,
I
Mike
think
Skinner.
they do.
It's her story.
I think they will in the future.
That's what people don't get. That was her story.
Well, I thought when I did it, this is going to make sense to the fans of the Roseanne show in about 20 years.
Right.
So,
but you also
some stuff
have to
I
go
did-
broke like in 10 episodes.
Huh?
You'd have to go broke again and be back
well,
to
it
yourself.
kind of did.
Well, that's when we came back.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
what we said happened.
Oh, I see. There's an artist, great guy, Mike Skinner. His band was called The Streets. And he did a song that ended his career.
Oh, no.
And it was,
Must have been a good song.
When you're a famous guy, it gets really easy to get girls. It gets so easy, you get a bit spoiled. But when you also meet a girl who is also famous too, it feels just like when you wasn't famous. And he was talking about getting too much pussy. And people were like, I don't like you anymore.
Sounds like
I
a good
can't
song.
identify with you anymore. But he was just telling the truth.
Maybe that's
He
what
was
happened.
getting tons of pussy.
Well, I had this one guy on a college professor when I liked him, which I don't now for the most part. But he wrote a analysis of that season, and it was called "Roseanne is Rich," and it was gratifying to me to read it because he got it and got what I was saying about class. When you're poor and do something, oh, you're gross. But when you're rich and do it, you're just,
Eccentric.
yeah.
Interesting.
So that's what it was about. But there's a lot of stuff in it. And I think that for my fans, I made that for my fans. And also it was that Goodman wouldn't be on the show. So I was like, how am I going to write this season without Goodman?
Why wasn't he on the show?
He didn't want to be on the show anymore. He didn't like us or didn't want to be on it no more.
Huh.
Yeah.
Are you friends? I know I'm asking the most generic, boring People magazine questions, but are you friends with him still?
No, I'm not friends with
course
none of
not.
them.
They all turn their
They're
back
all
on her.
they're all just
Well, they're cowards. They want to do whatever furthers their career,
they
right?
just saw money.
You know,
Everyone's like that in Hollywood.
Everyone's
If
like
they
that
see
everywhere.
dollar signs, they'll do
well,
whatever.
isn't it funny when you get canceled, your friends stab you in the back, and
Mm-hmm.
there's the obvious ones. Like I was very close with David Cross. We bought land together, we built homes.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I kind of understood his dumping because he was like, "We have Christmas parties every year. If you come, no one's going."
Right.
And
Oh,
it
uh-huh.
would end my career. He never vocalized this, but it was clear. So there's that category of friend that's like,
People that support the blacklist.
yeah, they're just like, I'm not willing to die on the cross for you.
Yeah, because they're communists.
Sure. So there's those. Then there's the ones who just vehemently agree with the propaganda and go, fuck you. I can't believe I was ever your friend.
Yeah.
That's another category.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
And
the
those
worst.
people are just insane. You didn't
Yeah.
even realize. And then there's the head scratchers where like you told racist jokes with them. They told them to you.
Right.
You've known them since you were 13.
Mm-hmm.
And they stab you in the back. And this
Yeah.
didn't happen to me, but I've heard of siblings and mothers and
Mhm.
fathers. And that to me is the most interesting group of those three groups, is the ones that like they know the real you. And without even asking.
That's what blew my mind because, the cast knew that I had black people in my family and in my life because I brought them to see the show all the time. And they knew that I was constantly fighting to get black people on the show and behind the cameras and in the crew and on the writing staff. They knew that.
Yeah.
But yet they're like, yeah, she's kind of a rape. I can't even fucking think where their minds went.
Well, that I was like I was telling you
I
earlier.
think it was anti-Semitism. I do. Because, like I say, hey, the economy's in the shitter. Time to hate the Jews again.
That does happen.
It's that. And ABC was like heavily enthralled with the BLM folk.
I think that's more than
It was all
I don't think
BLM,
it was
and they're Jew
anti-Semitism.
haters.
They had a new affirmative action hire.
Mhm.
And the thing about affirmative
She
action
didn't even
hires.
want my show, but Bob Iger
Correct.
Right.
forced her
Right.
to take it.
Yeah. Like say I
She
was
had just fired Tim Allen.
if I ran for office and the Scottish origin large mustache council donated like $20 million to my campaign.
Hmm.
After I got my position, I would feel obligated to
Yeah.
help Scottish people with big mustaches
Of
Yeah.
course.
because they paid my bills. So
Yeah.
I'd be looking around for someone to fire or hire based on. So she was an affirmative action hire, hired to fight racism, basically,
Married
So-
to a Jew.
married to a Jew. So
That's
she's like,
where it always goes. That's why we were going to talk about the
Yeah.
Jews. Because there is a civil war with the Jews, and it's lasted for thousands of years since we left Egypt.
Mhm.
As I don't know if you told him
No,
this,
I'm leaving this for
but
you.
it's in Exodus. God tells Moses, don't take out the Jews that are intermarried with Pharaoh.
Okay. Don't kill them.
Don't take them out of
Don't free them.
slavery when
Don't
you
free
leave
them.
Egypt.
Oh, okay. Have them remain as slaves.
They weren't slaves. They were the courtiers, the lawyers, the civil entities, the experts, the professors. They were the courtiers of Pharaoh, and they were intermarried with him. And God said to Moses, don't take them out because they dig slavery. They don't want to leave slavery. They are privileged. They don't want to leave slavery. And they practice the black magic of Pharaoh, Babylon. This is a whole new thing we're going for. And so Moses, who was talking to God all this time, he says to God, because he's a philosopher, as are a lot of Jewish people. He says, but wait a minute, you're contradicting yourself here, Lord, because you said that anyone who comes before you can change in the blink of an eye and, join on your side, no matter how sinful or whatever, with just repentance, they can come onto your side and be renewed. And God says to Moses, these cannot change. And Moses fights with him again. He goes, but then your whole thing to me is incorrect because you said any soul can change. God says, these cannot change because they are of pharaonic lineage and they're privileged and they practice black magic of Babylon. So Moses argues again, and God says to him on the third time, because it's always about 3 strikes and you're out.
Mm-hmm.
God says to him, have it your way, have it your way. And anyways, the end of the whole Torah is, the 5 books, is that Moses, because of them, who lied to him, they were bad spies.
Were they the golden calf builders?
They built the golden calf.
Okay,
The first
Arab.
thing they did is say all the women have to give their nose rings and their earrings, their bracelets and their rings, to build a golden calf of Horus, because that's the black magic of Pharaoh. When Moses was, 2 minutes late from the mountain?
Yeah, getting the 10 Commandments, right?
So, and it also says in Torah that this is what's great. It says, the first sin they committed because they're arrogant. Their sin is to be arrogant, which indicates crass ignorance.
So we're talking about ginos now genetically and saying they're genetically
Their
arrogant?
name is Erev Rav, bad spies, which translates to good teachers of bad information.
See, I knew you were more
And
anti-Semitic than I could.
No, but their mission
But this is biblical.
is
This is historical.
to destroy Torah,
Mhm.
to destroy
The Word of God.
the Word of God, to destroy the Jewish people, and they have infiltrated us. So what pisses me off is when people say the Jews, because they're condemning me along with them, and I am not like them.
That's what we were talking
And
about.
I want them to say the word Erev Rav, as is in Torah. Erev Rav, the black magicians of Egypt. Babylon, they are Gino. They were created through eugenics to be self-destructive and like the Pied Piper to lead all the children off the cliff. No, we're not going to do that this time.
Well, they're actually the opposite of Jews because they talk about Jews being the chosen ones, but people misinterpret that as Jews are better than everyone and God thinks they're better. No, they're the chosen ones to continue the word of God.
That's right.
So he sees them almost as librarians.
Yes.
We are librarians.
And he's like, these
lawyers.
guys will preserve the text. So I've chosen them to preserve the word of God. I'm not saying they're better than everyone.
No.
They're just good at
They're autistic.
studying.
That's what I said, because I was saying
like
my
a gaming
grandson, he
programmer.
said to me, why do they hate us so bad? All we are is nerds and autistic.
That's true. Like
And I
inbred.
said, yeah. And then I got this vision that I felt was really from the Lord. And he said, why do you think I made you all autistic and, you know, how you are?
Weird.
In
Neurotic.
the age of information, it's because you can research, and that's what's needed. That's what I created you for. Through all the shit you lived through, I made you a people who knows how to create. That's why Israel's turning out all this technology that is good for the world. It's not bad for the world. And people
Well, the
don't
hormone
even know.
blockers I don't like.
Huh?
They do make a lot of the hormone blocking medicine for trans children.
Okay.
Israel does.
Yeah.
Well,
But whatever, that's
you know,
probably not that
I
good.
mean,
Who cares?
you have to look at their fruits, of course. And people who are doing things, I call it Monsatan,
Mhm.
and that is a Jewish family too, the Monsatan
Is it?
family.
Is it? I thought they were Mexican.
Monsanto?
They're Spanish Jews.
Oh, wow.
Okay. This is fast.
But they've all enriched themselves, as have the Rothschilds, by stealing Jewish wealth. When they kill Jews, the only reason they kill us is to steal what we got. That's the reason they kill anybody, is to steal their land or their art or their, you know, that's all they kill everybody. They don't just, what they start with the Jews, because everybody's been programmed through MK Ultra Nazi mind control. What starts with the Jews never ends with the Jews. It goes to all tribal people. All people who own their sacred burial grounds. That's what them Satanists don't like.
Wouldn't
they don't
people
dig that.
accuse you of being? Wouldn't Orthodox Jews accuse you of being a gyno for not for recognizing Jesus' miracles?
Probably.
What do you mean by as miracles?
We
Well,
told him outside.
turning
remember?
water into wine and
Metaphysics?
yeah, doesn't that go against the core tenets of Judaism?
No, Judaism is about metaphysics.
So it's perfectly reasonable to see Jesus as the Son of God and a miracle worker. And be a
No,
Jew.
he was a master metaphysician and a great rabbi who studied under Rabbi Akiva, who was murdered by the Romans. And he was one of 3 students that Rabbi Akiva picked to lead the Bar Kokhba revolt against Rome, which we Jews won, and Rome retreated in horror. And that is why the United States won the Revolutionary War, by studying the guerrilla tactics of those who had come from that section of the world and fought in trees, because the way that the Jewish people of Judea and Samaria defeated the Romans
Romans.
was guerrilla warfare, and that's where it was initiated against great power. The triangulation of a small group of people against a mighty army with just the will and the faith. That is the Western world. And it's us.
Yeah, I'm glad
And
you
it's
said
mighty,
that.
mighty.
And it also is linked to the lack of classism in America. Like India has their caste system. Even Hawaii, before it was colonized, they had the different tribes and the hierarchy. And Britain, you know, you're either hello, how are you, or you're what you doing, mate.
Yeah.
They have their accent hierarchy, but
No,
America,
it's like this.
I think we
You're
have that.
either Pharaoh or the courtiers of Pharaoh or the bankers of Pharaoh. And it's never changed. Feudalism has never changed.
But in America, you can have a peanut farmer, as incompetent as he was, Jimmy Carter, become president. You got a yokel from Oklahoma, wherever
Because
Clinton
he
was
was paid for by the Council of Foreign Relations. It's
Okay,
like who
maybe
their
presidents
donors
are a bad analogy,
who
but
their
you know what I'm
donors
saying?
are.
Like,
I think classism's a little more
like we're
subversive in
nouveau
America.
riche here
Yeah.
in America,
Yeah.
and that's one of my favorite things about it.
Me too.
Is that there's no accent. Like you can, I've hung out with gazillionaires, and they're excited because I know Sarah Silverman, and they want to hear gossip. Like
Right.
there's no like there's well, there's obviously snobbery, but I find America to be the least snobby place on earth.
I do
Absolutely.
too.
Least racist and least classist.
I love about billionaires when I'm, vetted to be around them is, I mean, I wait till we're drunk. I really don't attack them at first. But if you ask them to help you sponsor something that's good for kids, they're all in every time. I've never heard a no. And I mean, and for a lot of money, they want to do good. A lot of them do,
Yeah. I met Peter Thiel a few times, and he's just like a very curious guy. Like, he's like, why do you think that women are so bad at politics? They seem so enthusiastic, but they haven't really done the backyard research. What drives that? Like, he's curious.
Because they're dickmotized. That's the whole thing of the Bible. Women worship the erect phallus. That's patriarchy. Women's worship of the erect phallus.
They're trying to be men.
It makes me sick.
Women make terrible men. This is my thing.
They're not trying to be men. They're trying to
when
get
they get involved
men.
in politics, they're doing a man thing, and they don't belong in politics. They generally don't belong in the workforce. They don't belong in a lot of things. There's obviously exceptions. I don't think women can write, but
Fuck you, I can write.
out of my top 10 writers, 5 of them are female. So you can say that Asians are bad at basketball, and your favorite basketball players can be Chinese.
Right. It's an exception to the rule. Is what you're
So like Ann Coulter,
outliers.
Michelle Malkin, Laura Hillebrand.
I used to fight with them.
What's the woman who
Democrat.
wrote Heather McDonald?
Yeah.
Like my favorite writers. But generally, women, when they write, they can't kill their darlings, so they will.
What do you mean they're darlings?
The secret to writing is to look at what you just did and said, what can go?
He's mansplaining.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Writing to you
And
right
you've
now.
got to murder paragraphs.
Yeah, I said he's mansplaining writing to you. So I want to watch it. I don't want me here for this.
I wouldn't agree, but it's interesting to hear you babble on.
That's where it comes from.
And not
No,
edit
I'm
myself.
No, but it's interesting to hear what you think.
You don't mean that at all.
So,
At all.
but my
I
point,
know
my
you
general,
so.
my general
I know,
point
in
is,
the least.
I tend to
interesting to
sound
hear
like a
you think.
sexist when I talk, but whenever I'm
That's okay.
criticizing
I like
females,
sexist.
it's for leaving their area of expertise.
Well, I've never left my
Right.
area of expertise, and
I agree.
I've been disallowed to ascend to my area of expertise
I agree.
until recently. And I can't tell you how thrilled I am, because my whole life I have been the definition of expertise and excellence, only to be shat upon by those inferior to me.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to deal with that? They can talk about racism, and I can understand it, but there's nothing that compares to being a smart woman in Hollywood with a bunch of fucking chronic masturbating Jewish guys. There's nothing worse.
Well, you're obviously wildly unique, and you kind of invented this notion of nonconformity in art, where I'm going to be me, no matter how uncool and unpopular it is to be a chubby housewife in a flannel and talk about my ungrateful kids. That had never been done before. And there's a lot of people like that, like Billy Bragg. He was a folk singer.
I love Billy Bragg.
And back then, if you're British, you did an American accent like Led Zeppelin. Woman, I need you. And then Billy Bragg comes along. He's like, up in the morning and we're out for school. Mother said there'll be no work next year. And people are like, whoa, you're just being a regular guy from like South London.
Yeah, people like that.
I like that. Like they want you
Yeah,
to be
that's some
sincere.
punk shit, right?
Yeah, people want sincerity, and you were the first to bring it to comedy. So when I criticize women and blacks and everyone, I'm usually getting mad at them for not being honest and not being themselves.
Well, it's very difficult to do that when you're having to get in front of this audience full of fucking stuff to the top of their head, to the bottom of their feet, of prejudice bullshit.
Right, and that's why we appreciate it more. Like Kathy
Anybody
Cheetos.
who can break through that, you got a career for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Correct. And that, I would argue, is American culture.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
American
too.
culture is, I'm me, take it or leave it, go fuck
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Go
It's the
fuck
outlaw
yourself.
too.
Yeah, that is
And
America.
Kathy Cheeto, the head of the Secret Cervix,
She's
Cervix.
The reason I don't hate her because she's a woman, I hate her because she's
An idiot.
in over her head, pretending to be a man, not doing what she's meant to do.
Well, you know what I say. The whole government, it is a conspiracy. Lesbian witches. I know it because I was in Hollywood.
Is she a les, Kathy Cheadle?
Probably.
You got to be a lesbian witch or you don't ascend to power in the Democrat Party.
What about Nancy Pelosi? Is she a les?
She's a...
I think so.
she's the next thing after that.
Her husband seemed to have a gay boyfriend over that night.
I mean, who doesn't?
What about, have you heard this theory that Alex Soros is trans?
Yeah, definitely.
But he
And
does
has a
look trans.
vagina? And Huma Abedin, who allegedly used to horse around with Hillary in a gay way, is now marrying this chick with a beard.
Yeah.
Who? Soros?
Alex Soros.
Yeah, I could see
That
that.
would be perfect. Oh my God.
He does
is that
look
He
trans.
does sink a lot of gazillions into trans.
Yeah, and he does look trans.
Yeah, he totally looks
And he
trans.
talks like he's overdosing on hormones.
Yeah.
Like he says,
Hamza definitely pegs him. Ma, shit's getting bad. Biden's a retard, right? Like, and the Democrats aren't going to stop. We've already proven that he has dementia. We know they're going to cheat. They're importing voters in. They're going to let illegal migrants. They're going to vote. They're going to do the ballot dumping. They're going to cheat.
It's going to go like France.
It's going to go like France. That's the scare. I mean, maybe we'll be able to pull it off, but if we don't, the bottom line is from now until election day and probably there and after, regardless of what happens, America is destabilized and shit's going to get real. If Trump wins, we'll be like, yay, the left is going to riot. If Trump loses, America's doomed. So there's good and bad to every kind of possible outcome. But what I do know is, and I'm being very serious about it,
Gold is gold.
gold is gold, silver is silver, and currency, the dollar. I mean, the dollar could tank. We urge you, go to any company you want if you don't want to use
I'm going to
RB
do
gold.
it. I'm going to take money and buy gold.
You have to. You have
I've
to.
been doing it all along, but I'm going to step it up because, value for value, it never goes down. Gold never goes down. Gold and silver, they're not like paper money. They retain their value.
That's why they're called precious metals, and they have actual uses in the real world, unlike cash money, which when shit hits fan, maybe you can burn it and use it for heat like they did in the Depression, but gold and silver is just a smart way to protect your wealth. And again, yes, rblikesgold.com. You can go there and you can buy gold, and it's great. We have a landing page, but just go anywhere you want. This is not an ad for the sake. Shit's getting real. You can see it happening every day, and you really have to be smart now. You have to really see. The old days, you'd have to look 10 years in the future. Now you only have to look 2 or 3 months in the future.
Yeah,
Shit's
now
gonna
they're
get done.
saying gold is the only thing that isn't losing its value, unlike real estate
Right.
and 401ks and everything else.
Well, that's why I tell people that if you have like a retirement account, because if you have an IRA, or for instance, a lot of that's invested, and if the stock market crashes, your retirement crashes.
You're effed.
So it's the smartest thing you can do is if you have, like, you can roll over your IRA, you can take your retirement, you can actually put that in gold and silver, and protects from whatever's going to happen in the next 6 months to 3 years. You can at least roll that over and do
Right.
it. It's smart. I just do it, please. Just
Yeah.
do it. That's it. All right.
Absolutely. Don't you think that trans are, look how Biden and Newsom, the whole Democrat Party, they can't push those kickbacks from Big Pharma, Monsanto, they can't kick the drugging and chemical castration of children far enough with their happy face.
Yeah.
Happy face Hitler. They can't
Yeah.
be happier than to do that.
It's atheist pagans who are sacrificing their children to the woke gods, and they have no problem
Doing it.
like the bringing your kid to Drag Queen Story Hour. Why?
Yeah.
They don't. It's not Disneyland. It's not Legoland. They're not excited to be there. Yet you drag them in.
Well, as I
they're
always say, they
tortured.
always seem to have a thank you, baby.
Hi, Libya.
I might have to smoke with Mom. You, my mom?
I actually give them permission. We're
I
having a
smoked with her in.
we're having a
Austin.
power clash.
Love ya.
Listen.
I love
Who's
you.
the boss of Jake? You or me?
Hannah?
Livia is the boss of everyone.
Do you want another beer?
No, I'm good. This
Okay.
is turgid.
I'm
What was
letting
I
you
gonna
smoke in the
say
house.
about
This
that?
is breaking news on the Roseanne Barr podcast.
Trans people, the hormone blockers, like taking the drag queen story hour, cutting their tits off. My son was positive he was Spider-Man when he was young. I know this is a cliche
Yeah, but it's true.
point to make, but it's true.
Yeah.
You can't get a tattoo till you're 18.
Right.
And you know what I've looked up recently?
What?
Tits. Do you know how fucking complex these things are?
Yeah.
With the
The
different,
men's tits?
it's like a woman's
tits,
breast
yeah.
with the
Layers.
daffodil
Yeah.
ducts.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, I don't know, it looks like there's 600 little ducks.
Mhm.
There are.
And they
Well,
they
not
taste
600.
the child's saliva.
Yeah, and that makes more milk.
They're like,
come.
oh, this kid's low on iron.
No.
So the milk produces more iron to facilitate this
Yeah.
balance.
No, women's
You're not
tits are
cutting
this-
off an earlobe here.
That's how God made us, so we could have
You're the
children
best daughter
and
ever.
Yeah.
feed them. I mean,
It's
what are
blasphemy.
they trying to do? It is blasphemy.
The Lord gave you the Taj Mahal on your chest. And you're like, meh.
Tits are the smartest part of women. I think that's pretty clear. No, I mean, Hannah's, we got a baby. I got to say this, and I don't want to talk about cliche and cucky, but I'm like you. And then I watched Hannah go through childbirth. I'm not going to be that guy, but the breastfeeding thing, I've watched it. I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking weird. Women are like, did you know tits prefer breastfeeding?
I thought they were.
But
I thought they were for tit fucking.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they're designed to feed a baby, and it's like the sex stuff is secondary. And I'm not even trying to be funny.
I remember this
It was
one time
mind-blowing.
when I had the hugest tits because my family of Jewish women is all hunchback because of their tits by the time they're 60. Like Aunt Sadie was all bent over like a troll. Size 48E.
Now we're getting
tits.
started.
48E.
She did
And,
just to the knees.
I remember when I was breastfeeding my children, and I had them on the right breast, and the left one just started squirting right across the room.
Yeah.
It was right across the room. My mother-in-law was with me. She brought a rag because she's.
You get on the
very
microphone.
It's
clean.
an amazing design. You know that sort of dark area that women have from their
Yeah.
vaginas up to their tits. That's so the baby can maneuver and follow the yellow brick road up to their tits.
I know.
Also, BO. I'm not joking. The women's armpit smell. Kids can smell and find
Oh,
tits in the
wow.
dark with their BO. It's fascinating.
So we're like, this is the thing about
We're
being a sexist.
We're an animal.
feminists. Like I worship
I
this
am.
shit.
I love women.
I'm in awe of women
Me too.
and childbirth and all this. And modern feminism is to trivialize all this.
Yeah.
Literally cut the tits off.
Well, because
Fuck
it's
the
male
tits.
feminism.
Yeah.
It's not real feminism.
It's male worship. You know, there's a 14.
It's cockocracy. That's what I call it.
It really is.
When
It's
all these
getting
bitches
good.
are lining up to go, hey, anybody with a penis is worth more than us.
Right.
Stupid
They're
bitch.
becoming men.
Doesn't
And they're
have to be a
shitty
real
men.
penis.
There's 14 lesbian bars left in America.
They're trying to kill off the lesbians.
Because
That's
they're just
really what
men.
it is.
So they go to gay bars, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the left goes, oh.
And they're all pissed that the lesbians won't date the trans women. They're like,
Right.
we don't want to get that through your fucking
That's why we're
head.
lesbians.
We said that for fucking 25 years now.
And the
or
left will
more.
go, they'll go,
We
oh.
want nothing to do with the dick or dick has power or dick laws or dick religions. Fuck your dick. Go suck it yourself or stick it up your boyfriend's butt or whatever you're going to do in your homo-erogenous horseshit patriarchal bullshit world.
Is there a
We'll
civil
be over here with all the people.
Is there a civil war in the gay community?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, let's
It's
talk about that.
Same as the Jews.
It's
Yeah.
LGB against T and Q. Just like it
LGBT
is with the
against T and Q.
Jews, just like it is with the blacks, just like it is with the Hispanics.
Right.
It's everywhere. They fomented us to go against ourselves.
Let me ask you this then. 'Cause
That's what MK Ultra
you're-
is all about.
you're so smart. In each group, if there's a civil war, how do you know which side is good and which side is bad? Or am I being too binary? Is there a tell?
I think there is.
What's the tell?
Anti-Semitism.
That's the bad side.
Anything that goes against God, the Torah, and the people of God.
When you say anti-Semitism, you're saying anti-Jew or you're saying anti-Old Testament and
Anti-Torah.
which is the Old Testament, right?
It's the 5 books of Moses.
Okay.
The Torah that Christianity and Islam are based on.
So we can dislike Erev Rav, American leftist Jews.
We
and
have
still,
to dislike Erev Rav
Of course.
because they're on the side of, it's called the Sitra Akka. the other side. They're not on the side of those of us who wish peace, love, equity, and the end of slavery, debt slavery, and
Right.
you know,
See,
the
that's
few at the expense of the many. That's not, Torah is about evolving to the intellectual point where you can create just law, one law for all.
right.
No double standards that, you know,
Equal law.
accuse Israel of what every
Right.
other country does.
Right.
None of that anymore. And it's all going to go. It's all in the process of going.
So
Anything that has anti-Semitism, that says the Jews, without saying
you can bring it over if you want to look at me.
the communist Jews,
Right.
communist Jewish atheists against Jewish people who are connected to God.
Can I say what I think my tell is?
Yeah.
To tell, I asked her in a civil war because the Jews have it, gays have it, whites have. We all have civil wars right now, left and right. What's the tell to know which side is the good side?
Well,
Don't forget to move
Jews,
your
it's
mic.
Israel.
I think so, but I just
if
mean in general.
a Jew in America doesn't support Israel, you know that they're a secular phony.
I agree.
With gays, it's Drag Queen Story Hour.
Yeah. Or
With
pedophilia.
whites, it's Black Lives Matter. It's easy.
But what's the so that's all good points. But how would you
But when
sum
you
that
say
up?
support Israel, that's like really, really deep. Because for myself, I don't. There's a lot about Israel that I don't support that I think they do wrong.
Right. But
you
you can
know,
still support and be
and,
critical.
So I make my voice heard there. I don't accept all of it. And what's happening? But here's the
Like what? What do you dislike about Israel?
that it is in the control of the left, like the United States, exactly the same. And that we're being lied to about that fact in all press. Like their thing where they showed all these people in Tel Aviv saying that they're making the judicial system in Israel more right wing. In fact, what they're doing is what this Supreme Court did in the United States when it overturned Roe v. Wade, as well as the Chevron doctrine. They are saying that we will no longer have judicial fiat. There will no longer be law by a bunch of elitist fucking left-wing communist judges. Instead, as intended, the people will decide the law. No more elitist, bureaucratic, communist, leftist judges will do that. And that's never been portrayed correctly in the American press because they don't want us to know that Israel fights the same battle that we fight, and it is Israel is the little sister and America is the big sister. You know, all the Islamic people say big Satan, little Satan,
Mm-hmm.
because they're inextricably bound because of Christianity and the Bible. Israel is where the Bible is and where it happened. And Islam now is taking over the sacred burial grounds and holy sites of every religion on earth and claiming them to be
Every country.
Islamic in every
Bethlehem,
country. Killing
where-
Christians everywhere, killing Buddhists, killing Hindus
Yeah,
everywhere.
destroying their-
Easter
And,
worshippers.
you know,
They're Easter
they're
worshippers.
coming to kill the Jews too. And we're like, well, the Jews are occupiers. No, the Jews don't occupy Judea, you stupid fucking cunt.
Well said.
You know, and I always tell Jake, it's always that, not always, but so often, a Jewish home that has no Jewish mother. In other words, it's a Jewish man that married a non-Jewish mom, and she may have converted, but all her life she heard something horrible about the Jewish people in her religion that she was indoctrinated in before she converted to Judaism. And, you know, whether it was that we killed Jesus or whatever other misinformation she's been fed by Rome, and she'll say that to her kids like, oh, you're acting like a Jew like your dad. They all tell me. So it is like there is racism, there is anti-Semitism. We have to get over it by telling the truth about the truth. There's a great Jewish civil war in Israel among Jews everywhere, and it is, are we the people of the book, or are we the people of Marx?
And there's a lot of
fuck
people of
Marx,
Marx
he
in
was
Israel.
a Satanist.
I'm not going to be very popular with the people who subscribe to my network because I think they tend to be much more anti-Semitic than I could ever be. But my problem with Israel is it's not Zionist enough.
Mine too.
Like
That's what the
Muslims
Arabs
are
say.
in parliament. Why are Muslims in your government?
Yeah.
Why do Muslims
Because
live in
leftists-
Israel?
Because the
Why are
same
you
reason.
bringing
Hold on,
Palestine water every day?
Right. Thank
Stop.
you.
Because
Thank
the same reason the United States has the squad, Hamas, in Congress.
They're infiltrated.
It's infuriating.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've always said that my problem with Israel and the war in Gaza is they're not really the genociders.
Like
everyone
Jews are
says they
not allowed into the West Bank. They cannot leave Israel.
They left
Yet
Gaza.
every day, hordes of Muslims come through to work for the day,
Right.
and their anger is this wall is there.
Yeah.
Is my neighbor mad that I have a deadbolt?
Yeah.
Why would my neighbor give a fuck how
Yeah.
how fortified my home is? Unless you want to come in.
It's way deeper than anybody knows because it's actually a worldwide subterranean war, and nobody's told the truth, but it's a worldwide.
The thing that the Nazis have to understand about Jews is that they hate Jews more than anyone else.
Yeah.
Who
And
does?
Jews.
Jews.
We say
Oh,
that
I
every week.
know.
Yeah. We don't need
Like
your hate.
certain,
We
like
got
the
enough.
Satmar Jews. When you see these Jews that are like saying they're pro-Palestine, they have Palestine. They're in Israel and saying that all that Palestinian shit. I love that they just passed a law where they have to be drafted.
Yeah.
How much did I love that? Because it's like, hey, you live here and reap the privilege of this place. Like, I'm going to love it when the Democrats, nobody knows this, but they're going to draft Antifa and they're going to send them to Ukraine if they win.
Good.
They're
Have
drafting
fun.
women.
They're already all over the world, Antifa, fighting these fucking dumb battles they think are part of.
Yeah, how do you get in
their
Antifa
agenda.
anyway? Like, how do you get jumped into that gang?
You just show up one day.
You just say, "I hate my dad."
I went to Bethlehem where Jesus was born. I saw the little stone cave,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it's guarded with a giant fence with spikes everywhere because Muslims have completely surrounded it.
They shit in it.
There's
Yeah.
a call to prayer
Yeah.
where you're there to see the birthplace of Jesus, and you hear "Hi-ya, as they all bow, like hundreds of them are bowing.
Yeah.
They've taken over that area.
Yeah. Well,
Another
They
thing,
shit
temple.
in all the Jewish holy sites
Yeah.
and Christian too.
they do.
And we're not allowed to know that. But come on, they need to go through a renaissance. They need to come out of the medieval age.
I
Well, a
saw
lot of them
these
are inbred.
blacks at this restaurant, and they were furious that these white people got their steaks before they did.
Mhm.
And the manager was trying to explain.
They ordered
They order
before.
them rare,
Right.
so they're ready first.
Right.
But they didn't. They trashed the entire restaurant. And my reaction to that is, I want whites to act like that.
Oh God, could you imagine?
I want us to be, and not just whites, Jews, gays, Westerners, Americans, patriots, Brits. The ship has sailed on indignance.
Right.
So we're not convincing anyone to be more civilized. So we need to be.
I mean, how
less
many
civilized.
black
I like
people
that.
have you seen that are just perfect in their behavior, very loving, and they got a redneck racist at their throat? I mean, there's so many videos.
I've
like
seen that,
that,
of course, like Karen in the park.
I mean,
for sure.
it's just there's like,
Wait,
as I say, there's
no,
two
I haven't
kinds
seen
of
that.
people.
Oh, I've seen that.
They're all over YouTube. But like I say, there's two
A lot of
kinds
times it's
people.
me in the video.
Jake, will you get me some more booze?
Yeah.
We need
Like
more
I say-
booze.
Like
Have you ever
I
seen the
say,
movie
there's
With
two
Nail and I?
kinds.
Yeah. Are you
It's my
joking? That's our
favorite
favorite
movie.
movie.
Shut up.
Shut up,
watched that
bitch.
when
That's my
joking.
favorite movie. I've seen it.
I'm divorcing my
15
wife.
times.
We're getting married.
Yes.
Okay, but you better be richer than me because I'm never marrying another guy poorer than me.
I've only got about 10 million.
That's about what I got.
We need more booze.
I wanted to marry Patrick Byrne because he satisfies my two requirements for a new husband. He must be terminally ill. and very, very wealthy, much wealthier than myself.
How about when Withnail wakes up hungover and he goes, I've got a bastard behind the eyes. It feels like a pig shat in my head.
How about Uncle Monty?
Oh, my boys, my boys.
When he comes with that green eyeshadow into
Yes.
the bedroom.
I mean to have you, even if it must be burglary.
You remember all the lines.
Oh, yeah.
What about that hippie that comes in when they got in the
If
horrible
I dose
dirty...
you, you'll
Yeah,
know
that
that
one.
you've been dosed. This joint is called a Cumberwell carrot because it's shaped like a carrot, and I came up with it in Cumberwell.
George
Balls! I'll take whatever you've had and run a mile. Those are choice words, mate.
George Harrison produced that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that movie. I never knew that.
I became obsessed with George Harrison because of that movie.
Really?
And I stalked him. You know, I also stalked Marlon Brando.
Oh.
I
My
was
son's
in love
Johnny
with
is named after him in the Wild One.
Was that his name, Johnny?
Johnny. What are you rebelling against? What do you got?
Oh, brilliant, yeah. He raped everybody, allegedly.
Oh, great. I named my son after a serial rapist.
Yeah.
Marlon
am I just
Well,
gonna
Johnny.
drink it out of the bottle?
Johnny wasn't a serial rapist.
Johnny who?
In the Wild One.
Oh.
You know that invented Cool? Cool was invented relatively recently, 1953. We had the Wild One. We had Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah, that one.
Before that, teenagers were just young adults. There weren't teenagers.
Right.
You were a kid, then you were a young adult, then you were an adult. There was no in between.
That's right. And what was the common denominator between the cool teenager and the age before? I bet
World
you'll
War
never
II.
guess. No,
Comment on the age before, you mean teenagers
T-shirts.
of the generation before?
the generation before.
Privilege.
The common bridge and denominator to fucking Coolsville.
Drugs.
No,
Privilege.
Foreskins.
no.
Music. Marijuana. I already said drugs. What?
I
Speed.
forget her last name now. Natalie
Wood?
Wood.
Natalie Wood.
Didn't they kill her? Fucking what's his name? Killed her? Christopher Walken and Robert. Allegedly, they pushed her off a boat.
Allegedly, she caught
You didn't know
them
this?
fucking each other.
Yeah.
Her
Okay, so
husband
this is
and-
two things I got to look up: Green Acres and the assassination of Natalie Wood.
And Erev Rav. Oh,
Erev
you knew that
Rav.
already.
Yeah, I'll get to that.
The
That's
evil
Yeah,
hard.
the
spies.
G shit's boring. She does
The
it every
Jews
episode.
who are double spies.
But
They
wait.
spy. They pretend they're spying for Israel, but they're spying for Pharaoh.
But Natalie Wood was murdered, right? Allegedly?
Well,
Or there is that
allegedly,
theory?
that's what they allegedly
Hollywood
say
Double.
about the alleged issue.
Do you think that?
Oh, fuck yeah. She caught her husband butt fucking with what's his ass?
It was Robert, what's his name? Christopher Walken. was
Could that be
butt
the title of this episode?
Yeah.
They caught her husband butt
She
fucking
caught-
with what's his ass.
Yes, that will be.
Write that down.
She walked in and seen her husband with Christopher Walken
Yeah.
having some
Mick
sort of a gay
Jagger
thing.
fucking.
Maybe they were just dressed up with scarves dancing to Judy Garland records. But she was incensed.
And they threw her off the boat. That's one
She
of the
ran
theories.
out.
Catalina.
She ran off the boat and was so drunk that she slipped and fell off the edge.
And hit her head on
Wow.
a hammer. in
That's
the water.
like
I'm just
House
kidding.
of Lotus,
Hmm
the second season with
Yeah.
that blonde chick.
Yeah,
jumping
they
out.
got that from Natalie Wood.
A lot of times
Wow.
Hollywood, I don't know if you know this, they sneak stuff in their movies. CIA
Mm.
fucking.
Yeah.
What's that project?
That was such a great
Is that
show.
Mockingbird? No, that's not Mockingbird. what was the-
Mockingbird is the press.
Well, yeah, Mockingbird. CIA working with Hollywood, which they're doing now. Clearly, can we talk about the assassination? I know you guys are.
Oh, yeah, the assassination attempt.
Have you been following? I mean, obviously, you know it happened, but have you been following this shit after the
Wait,
Secret
what happened?
Service? Trump.
Did we fully cover the idea that the Proud Boys were unjustly convicted
think
and
everybody
called
knows that.
racist and dragged through the mud and like made to suffer
It's
for
disgusting.
no
Yes.
fucking good
And
reason?
I want to make it
No,
by
clear.
a DOJ that's done that to black people for centuries here in
my
America.
proof of that allegation is
Let's talk about
that
that.
it happened in a minute.
Yeah.
Before October 12th, 2018, Proud Boys were just patriots.
Right.
A switch was flicked on
Yep.
October 12th, 2018, and they became Nazis after that and got insane life. 30 years, 4 years, 5 years for nothing.
When did the Southern Poverty Law or whatever, when did that happen?
They'd been attacking us for a while.
Right.
So
They're pure
I'm
communists.
suing them. I
They're
spent
pure
$250,000
communists.
suing them.
And that's still going on?
So
Should've won that by
there's
now.
Did you know what I
Hold on,
found
wait.
out with all my digging and on friends? Did
What?
you know, like, that's what I know. Oh, I shouldn't even go into that.
Yeah, I want to hear what happened with this
Too
lawsuit.
late.
I want to hear about the lawsuit.
Well,
So there's like 5 Supreme Court judges in Alabama where they are, and
it's
the
clearly
announcement of the lawsuit petrified them. The Richard Cohen quit, Morris
Jew.
Dees, the founder,
Yep.
quit. Head of legal quit. Their top researcher quit
All
because they knew
Jews?
we would get their emails. But there's one liberal judge out of 5, black guy. It ended up on his lap, and it's just sitting there rotting. Like
yeah, I was gonna
he'll
say,
die. Ron Coleman is my lawyer for this, and I go, isn't there like expeditious justice or speedy trial?
You
Isn't there
just
some
sit
rule?
on
And he
it?
goes, nope. There's no law that says he can't sit on this lawsuit until he dies of old age.
Is it a defamation
So,
suit?
like, think about
Yeah.
all the
You
old
can't go
white
civil or criminal?
KKK judges
I don't know.
that did that to black prisoners who were innocent that they railroaded. Think about that.
No.
That's
Yeah,
the
I-
for sure.
history
my
of
life,
America.
my life.
That's the history of America, and
Yeah.
that's why they say orange is the new black.
Exactly.
No, they want you to
my
feel
life.
it.
I lived the life of a mixed race couple in the 40s.
Yeah.
Like when I go out of my house, I have to worry. When I sit in a restaurant, I have to make sure my back is to the door.
Yeah.
They throw eggs at the house. They put garbage on the
Yeah.
front lawn. Like my neighbors attack me, and we get in yelling fights when I walk my dog.
Yeah.
Like I'm a black guy married to a white woman
Yeah.
in 1949.
My favorite bit you
There's
ever
no
did
difference.
was the gay guys. I don't know if you remember this. When you
Yeah,
were
yeah,
being
yeah.
Conservative.
Being MAGA
Did you ever
is
hear
gay.
this? He said being MAGA. Well, this was probably like 3 or 4 years ago, but it was like it's like being gay in the 50s, where you're at a party and you kind of. I don't want to ruin your bit, but I'll let you do it. But it's fucking
You already
brilliant.
destroyed it.
Sorry.
No, I was at a family reunion
It's
with
the
my
best.
wife's family. My wife's half white, half American Indian, but so it was with the white half.
And she's a Democrat too, right?
Not anymore.
Okay, good. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank
Congrats.
The broken windows red pilled her. But
That's what it takes sometimes.
I'm at the family reunion and I'm with
I knew John Trudell.
Hold on. Can he finish?
her
the-
white half is there, and we're talking, and Trump had just come up. It was like 2016 or something, and I heard one of her cousins, her white cousins, go, "Yeah, well, you tax something, you get less of it. So when you tax corporations, I mean, are they going to be as affluent as are they going to be as productive as when they're not taxed?" And I was like, it was like someone said, "I love Judy Garland. She's got some great
Totally.
songs."
This
So
is the
I look
best
over
bit
at him
ever.
and we meet eyes, and I'm like, "Yeah, it sort of seems like taxes are a good idea on paper, but as far as practice goes, you get less productivity." And then
Aren't
Correct.
you out in the car talking?
yeah,
making
we're
out in
like
the car?
we're now like we might as well have like pink ascots.
It is though.
Yeah.
It is.
It
It's
is
punk
the
rock.
li-
And we're
it's
both
the-
dancing well.
It's the liberal
Is this our
elite Londoner class.
Is this
Yes.
our karma?
Because
as white
it's
people?
always like the very elite billionaires and their fucking bullshit socialism.
Yes. So I said to him, I go, we're out of beer. I'm going to go get more beer. Do you want to join me? And he's like, yeah. So then we get in the car, and the equivalent of
Just
sucking each other's
off.
dicks
Yeah, Brokeback.
was Trump is on fire these days, man. He's fucking. This is the beauty. Like all you got to do is take down tax and let
Yeah.
business be business.
He says
That's
like
all you got to
being
do is
gay
get
in
out of the way.
50s.
That's the secret of politics. Just get out of the way. I want the next president to be a Japanese guy who doesn't know any English except the word no, and he just sits in the White House. He just says no, and we're talking to 100 miles a minute. We go, we get the beer, we come back to the house, and then the second we come back to the house, we separate and go in
Brokeback
different
Mountain.
directions because we just had sex with each other.
Yeah, no, that's what it's like. That's still what it's like. But I got to say, the assassination attempt, my theory is that took off that gaslighting shit we all, because I know we're all proud MAGA, but there's still part of us is like, should I say it here? It's done. I think it's done. I
Yeah.
think now we get to turn the tables and fucking gaslight the fuck out of them, regardless. And I think it's
Well,
great.
the Satanists did it to Trump on the 13th
And they failed.
because the 13 is, they do reverse Judaism. And because they're the black magicians of Pharaoh, of Babylon.
We got to start calling that J13.
We do.
Huh?
It's J13
Why?
because it needs a day like J6. Like it has to be.
Okay, J13. Yeah, the Satanists always do something on the 13th or the 11th.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Because a trauma inflicted on the masses precludes a lot of laws changing that take away your civil rights.
You got an
Trauma.
announcement to make?
Well, it's from 2 hours ago. It's kind of what I was talking about since we're finally talking about the assassination and Satanism. A company called Austin Private Wealth shorted 12 million shares of DJT via a put option. The filing date is July 12th, the day before the assassination attempt. They have around $1 billion in assets under management, and this is by far the largest put placed. According to the source, the trade represents 6% of total shares and over 16% of the float of stock, given the fact that Trump owned 60% of the company. So this is a giant bet when you consider their total aim. But wait, there's more, and I don't want to read it on. You just retweeted it, but the day before the assassination attempt, they shorted the DJT stock. I guess it's not important. Not important? You don't think that's important? That's scary shit.
Yep.
May I tell the story about how God Almighty always
Mom wants to talk.
places me in places where I am forced to witness horrific things that I don't want to see or hear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, thanks, Lord. Can't you leave me alone? He's like, no, I can't, Roseanne. You have to see it.
What does he call you? Merlan?
Roseanne.
Oh, he uses your name.
Well, he uses my Hebrew name.
What's your Hebrew name?
Rivka.
He calls me Eddie. I don't know why.
That company is connected to James A. Baker.
So sorry, tell the story.
All right, sorry.
What was the
Huge news.
story?
That God makes you witness horrific things that you shouldn't.
Oh, I was seated in this lovely delicatessen in New York City. This one lovely day that I was there to do some sort of fucking thing for some satanic channel. And trying to go there and fight the good fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I always try to fight the good fight. Because God puts me where I need to go say the thing about God, right? So I'm sitting in this restaurant. I mean, it's a delightful restaurant too, I have to say. One of my favorites there in New York City. And I'm sitting there at this table, and beside me are two wonderful Jewish gentlemen who are stockbrokers of some sort. And they're discussing the internet. And basically, I'm a nosy old Jewish woman, so I stick my nose in everybody's business because it's A, fun, 2, informational. 3, I'm always trying to get people married.
Me too, yeah.
Right? So they're talking about placing the betting on stuff on the stock market. And they use the word put.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, all we need to do is bet a put on something. And it was horrendous, as I was understanding it. They were betting on the lives of human beings.
Yep.
And it was really blowing my mind. And so, anyways, I picked up their tab, you know.
Why?
So I could talk to them.
Oh.
And I said to them, they thanked me and said, oh, they were big fans of mine, blah, blah. And I said, I was nosy and I snooped on what you were saying about this and that. And I hope this Rosh Hashanah, when you go to synagogue, you'll repent for betting against the lives of humanity. I hope you'll do that. And that's why I picked up your check. Because I hope you'll repent. Because I feel
and
like...
what'd they do?
Stared at me with their mouths open like, what? You know, because I always say men are like, that's a cow that's talking. Why is that cow talking? They don't...
Who taught her to talk?
That's a cow that's talking. Because they don't even... But no, I mean... It's coming up on a time in the world where everybody who is full of hate and is making money off suffering and pain, they're going to have to repent.
I hope so.
It really feels like things are accelerating. Even this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even this week.
Mhm.
Totally this week.
So let me give you my boring diatribe about
want it.
the shooting.
Oh, yes, I love
Please.
it.
I'm
you.
obsessed with the competence crisis, and I believe that everything about the government comes down to: are you retarded or evil?
Right.
Is this a grand plan, or are you just negligent?
It can be
And-
both, right?
And then there's a gray area where
Okay.
there's
Could
both.
be both.
And I think that leaned more to evil with Hillary Clinton. I do think she's killed 13 people
57, I
out
think.
of the 57, 80 that
Okay.
they talk about. I
Are you
think.
talking about in Afghanistan?
That's
I
Ted
think
Williams
no,
numbers.
I'm talking about women that were the sign language
Testifying.
interpreter for Bill and that kind of stuff.
So 13 of the 57 on the kill
So
list.
13 are inarguable.
Okay. So that's Ted Williams numbers. That's like 400%.
Yeah, like you
I get it.
you went camping and you drowned in an inch of water.
Right.
No, I'm not. I don't believe-
Obama chef.
But I
Allegedly.
believe that was a much more qualified deep state.
Yes.
The deep state of the past 5 years is a clown show.
Incompetent.
It's
Retarded.
Keystone Cops. So
Fair enough.
let's take January 6th. I believe that their comms were killed. They could not communicate on cell phones. I believe that gates were opened.
Yep.
I believe that flash bombs were thrown in
100%.
to foment dissent, to make these normal working class people go crazy.
Right.
And they snapped.
Right.
And they should be punished for that.
Yeah.
They should pay a $100 fine.
Yeah.
And they should be denied beer for 24 hours.
Fair enough.
That should be the
Yeah.
punishment for January 6th.
Yeah.
Not 33 years in fucking prison.
No.
But that was much more on the evil scope of things than retard. Governor Whitmer,
Yeah.
that was pure evil, very low retard. That
Right.
was, I'm
Yeah,
going to get
kidnapping and trafficking.
feds involved.
Yeah.
I think it's the numbers vary when you look it up. But
It's like this. I'm going to get my eyebrows waxed, my roots done, and then repeat the CIA talking points.
Right. But you're saying the kidnapping plot.
the kidnapping was maybe 13 people involved. More than half of them were feds or federal
Entrapment.
informants.
It was entrapment.
So that was evil.
Right.
You know what that means?
That was evil using
Hold on.
retards.
You know what
Hold
that
on, I wanna-
means, though,
you have to-
son?
What?
Mormons.
Okay.
Well, please finish.
Mormon Freemasons.
Third event was this shooting. I believe that was almost 90% retard.
Retard by the Secret Service or by the shooter?
Secret
or?
Service, Mayorkas.
Okay.
So what Mayorkas
Mayorkas
realized,
for sure.
what the deep state realized is
I wanna hear
Whitmer
this.
didn't work
Right.
because we left a paper trail.
Right.
So we went to court and everyone saw these feds involved in the thing.
Right.
I don't want to do that again. J6 sort of worked, but I feel like with the footage we're going to be exposed as letting them in.
Right.
I think half the
Did
country.
you see that footage when Nancy Pelosi, all them sets of bitches, was on their cell phones and they was dark?
Precisely.
The cell
So
phones
there's-
didn't have any
That's
image whatsoever
Evil
on them.
and retarded.
There's too much paper trails with J6 and
Right.
Whitmer.
No, we'll be.
So
we'll
they
be
go, I
vindicated
got an
for that.
idea. Let's do this. Let's bombard the populace with propaganda. We got the media on our side. Trump is evil. Trump needs to die. Trump is evil. Trump
Threat
needs
to
to die.
democracy.
Simultaneously, Mayorkas will push DEI garbage with the Secret Service,
Yeah.
and he'll make them all useless fat chicks.
Right.
So someone says, what if these useless fat chicks get Trump killed? He goes, that's awesome.
Right.
So it really comes down to, was this shooter handpicked?
Yeah, he
And-
was.
need to
Most
talk
of the
about
people
this.
that I know think he was. I don't. I think it was just, let's just carpet bomb the country with propaganda and we'll get a retard to do something stupid.
Right.
And then our inept security, both with the Secret Service and the local police,
Yeah.
will fail to apprehend him. Now I get the president's shot and there's zero paperwork.
Right.
That's true.
It's an interesting thing,
I
but
agree
here's the
with
problem.
you.
That was live
But
televised.
nobody
that
knows
was
that
live,
there were two shots
won't
at
let me.
Trump.
That was live televised. They never televised, rarely have televised a
They
Trump
agreed to televise it live for the
rally.
first
So
time.
this was televised.
Okay, so
And it was 20
again,
minutes
what I'm
this
saying
kid
is a
was on the
theory,
roof.
and I'm happy. I want it to
Well,
be
let's-
chipped away
let's-
because I want to know
let's
more
chip it away.
information. So if what you say about betting against Trump's social media, Truth Social,
That is true.
that's huge.
Could be a coincidence.
Being televised is huge. So
It's
I'll
a-
take all those into account, and that will chip away at my theory. The problem with
and the kid was on the roof for 20 minutes.
look at Uvalde.
Yeah, but they knew that Uvalde, they were just pussy cops. This guy the sniper had a shot and he didn't
no,
take it.
they were colluders.
That's different. He wasn't
Maybe.
afraid. That guy wasn't afraid. He was a sniper. He wasn't going to go into a school with a shooter.
He
and get
went up
ripped
to the cop.
No, I'm talking about the one that
it's just
took him
my
out.
theory. Like, people get so mad at me for having
No,
this
let's
theory.
do it all.
But-
I thought Trump
but
maybe cut his ear. I said, and everyone got
The
mad.
cop saw the shooter and he went down the ladder. We've like the past 5 years, I cannot emphasize the competence crisis enough.
No, you're
Yeah.
right about
And it's
that.
very recent.
Yeah.
Boeing has planes falling out of the sky
Yeah.
because of the competence crisis.
Correct.
I do a thing on my show. I do aviation incompetence. I do general incompetence. And then I have a whole segment on just Boeing alone.
Yeah.
Boeing alone.
Yeah.
It's run by some broad, just like the Secret Service.
Obama.
And she has a garbage degree from some local
Right.
college in law, and she was the head of the Women at Boeing Society, and now she's the fucking CEO running the whole company.
Satan works through women.
She hates engineers.
Right.
She
Look
thinks
into
they're
Boeing,
gaylords.
honey.
She moved the head office to Chicago
Honey,
because they have better
Look into
restaurants.
Right, that
Boeing
is true.
and John Bonet.
John
Okay,
Benet
that's
Ramsey?
another thing to research. Hold on the Roseanne Barr podcast, but let's stick to this. So, 20 minutes on the roof. See, you're thinking this is just
Incompetence.
gross incompetence. It's an
But
interesting.
planned
thing.
incompetence. Like the problem with the people who are mad at me for this theory is they assume I'm just saying they're all retards. No, Mayorkas knew that making the Secret Service female was going to put the president in danger.
So then it's evil.
Yeah,
so
they're
it's
not
evil
even
too.
as tall as him. They're going to protect him
they
by.
can't lift
Their
him.
head was like 2
Being
feet
under
below.
his
They were
head.
ducking. At one point, you hear one of the women go, "What do we do? What do we do?"
Yeah, it's on tape. What do we do? What do we do?
Well, let's go back to Jan 6.
Okay.
Come on in, people.
Yeah.
Come on in. Come on in.
They
Okay.
stayed within the velvet ropes. The guy who put his feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk, he got 5 years.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Come on in, people. Come on in. Come on in. Oh my God, they're trying to disrupt our
Certification.
certification.
Which
of the
none of them knew
election.
that was going on.
No.
Maybe 3 of them knew.
They
that
did
was
it
going
on purpose to say they were trying to disrupt the certification of the election.
So that they could push the certification through. And
So
that
they
did
could
happen
push the
2 hours
certification
later.
through.
It's not a coincidence.
Yeah, so that they stormed the Capitol
Which
to delay
is-
a certification
which is
for 2
an
hours.
And then they ran it through.
insurrection,
Because
which
there
33
is-
years in prison for that?
Yeah.
which is in fact an insurrection against the president of the United States, who is Trump, not Biden, because he wasn't
Yeah,
certified.
stop the
Oh,
steal.
right,
That's
good
why one
point,
was there.
yeah.
It was
I
stop
never
the
thought of
Okay,
steal.
so let's go to this. The Brunson case before the Supreme Court. He's a friend of mine.
Do you know the Brunson case?
No.
Okay. Another thing to research.
Charles Bronson is in trouble?
No.
Brunson.
Is it
brother.
Death
Brunson.
Wish?
My fellow Utah autistics, Salt Lake City autistics. We're all autistic in Salt Lake because we're all married to, our parents are all married to their first cousins and such.
And you weren't allowed to drink.
Well, you know, we drank and swore and stuff in private. But people said the Brunson case has already been decided by the Supreme Court and they're just keeping it secret. But the Brunson case is about everybody in Congress violated the Constitution of the United States,
Which is true.
which says if anyone disagrees with the certification, if there's fraud at all,
It goes back to
and
the states.
anyone says there's fraud and it should go back to the states, then those people who went ahead with certification, because the Constitution says if anybody says, hey, there's evidence of fraud,
Mhm.
election fraud,
This is true.
it needs to be turned back to the states. Instead, they certified it.
Because of Jan 6.
Because
They were gonna
of
send it back to
blaming
the
those
states.
people who
Pence
were
was
walking
gonna.
the velvet.
Do you know this?
They all
You don't know
no.
this? You're Jan 6
they
Cowboys?
engineered it to cover their insurrection and overthrow of the United States government.
And this is not allegedly, just so you know, when there is a contested election, it goes back to the states. Pence was supposed to send it back to the states. That was the plan. I don't know if you know this. Pence was never going to do it. That's why it failed. But when Jan 6 insurrection happened, the rioting, what
Pence
they did.
couldn't do it because
Well,
the deep state has horrible blackmail on Pence.
well, whatever it was.
Really?
The point was they,
What, gay stuff?
They never sent it back.
Worse.
What's
Children,
worse than being
probably.
gay?
Children, pedophilia,
Children.
Ooh.
allegedly. Anyway,
Allegedly.
they didn't send it back to the
Allegedly.
states, and it was certified, and Joe Biden was certified president that night. It should have gone to the states.
Should have gone back to the states as per the Constitution.
So letting
So the Brunson
people in.
case is saying that all people in Congress who, what is the word?
Contested?
No, who certified
Objected?
the election are traitors, and they violated the Constitution.
They technically did. That is
and
true.
of course they did, but the leftists tried to throw it out on every level, saying you have no standing. Texas has no standing.
There's no evidence, though they never listen to the evidence. But hold on, let me just give you guys, and then this is.
But
you gotta
people
hear
say
this.
that the Brunson case has already been decided by the Supreme Court, and they're just keeping it secret because they don't want civil war in the streets.
Let me paint a picture. 9/11, Trump assassination, January 6th, just for 3 examples. All of them had a little retardation. They had the perfect mix, and then someone.
Well, the useful,
oh God, hurry up
the
back.
useful
God damn it, Gavin.
idiots. No, Jake, we'll talk. The useful idiots. He's calling them the retards, but
Same
they're
thing.
useful idiots.
Well, he's
They're-
saying incompetent.
but they're not incompetent. They're just
Exactly.
useful idiots, and they were bred for self-destruction.
I'm painting a picture. So 9/11, right? They know that.
My
There's a-
opinion on 9/11
I can
is
never
as
get a-
follows. It's not like any of y'all's.
My favorite is that you tell me I interrupt you all the time, and I have to play that video when you're like, "You interrupted me." Oh yeah, I'm gonna stare.
My opinion on 9/11
Try again
is
later.
that it was a weapon being tested.
I know
And
this
the
theory.
guy got an insurance payout for
Silverstein,
allowing
yeah, and he was a Jew, unfortunately, and he did take out.
Jewish lightning.
It was Jewish lightning, and he also tried to get a separate insurance payout for each plane. He said each plane was a separate terrorist attack, and actually went to the insurance company. He's like, "Yeah, sure, I lost 3 buildings. One just blew up inexplicitly, building number 7, because there was a little fire, and I told the fire department to pull it." But he tried to say that was 3 separate attacks.
But
Please-
that
please don't
was
make
to
it-
cover the fact that $3 trillion went missing.
Right.
It's
We're at
always
9/11 now,
about
Gavin. You missed it.
covering the fact that trillions of dollars go missing.
Let me just paint a picture real quick, and then I'll stop talking. 9/11, Trump assassination, and what was the third one I said?
J6?
J6. So you have a situation that's already kind of out of hand. You know, for 9/11, you know that terrorists want to attack the World Trade Center. They tried it in
Well, they
93.
never stopped.
They
But,
did it.
but
yeah.
they know it's coming, right? They're at flight school. Everybody knows it was reported. You have January 6th. You know we're at the stop at the still. The Proud Boys are there. Everyone's mad. Trump, you know there's a kid on the building for fucking 20 years. They're this smart. They see that there is a fucking powder keg, and they just light
This
the match.
is what
And
I
think
resent
that's what
about
they do.
your version of events.
Please.
I don't
They're-
agree with him.
Those 3
'Cause
words,
it's too smart.
they're so smart.
They are smart. And
The
you don't
White House
underestimate.
is the DMV.
Yeah.
That's a
AOC,
mistake. No.
Ilhan Omar, like these
That's
people
true.
are, you'd be, if you were at a party and AOC was there, you would be constantly looking around wondering how I'm going to get out of this conversation. Like,
No,
maybe
you
I'll just
wouldn't.
pretend
No, you
I have
wouldn't.
to go pee.
No, you
You'd be
wouldn't.
like, hey, she's going to pull a train at,
No,
at midnight.
I'm going to try and fuck her is what I would say. She's hot as hell.
Yeah, I don't know if I could last, because to fuck a woman takes 5 hours. I don't think I got 5 hours in me.
What are you, a porn star? Oh, you mean for
No,
trying
the
to
courting.
convince her?
The talking.
She
the
is a
being.
more.
porn star. AOC is a porn star.
They're all human garbage. So my belief with 9/11 is, and again, this makes a lot of my right-wing friends mad because I'm not
A truther.
conspiratorial enough. But I'm just like,
I'll educate you.
they knew that there was going to be an attack, just like
Yes,
Pearl Harbor.
they did.
They knew it was going to be.
And
but
they
I
let
think
it
what-
just like January 6th.
I think George W. hoped it was going to be like the previous
No.
World Trade Center attack, where a couple security guards die. When he found out that 3,000 people died, he went, "Holy shit!
Wrong.
This is way worse than I thought."
Do you know who was
gonna
head
be."
of security in the Twin Towers?
Who?
A Bush. Look this up. This is 100% true. And you know, a few weeks before the attacks, they shut down for security reasons and evacuated the building. This is true.
In
I'm not
my
telling- I'm not
opinion, let
lying.
me just jump in
This
here,
is huge.
Jake.
Why does no one ever? Why is that not
They
important?
I think that's
evacuated the World
valid.
Trade Center on 9/11.
No, not on 9/11. A few weeks before for security measures, and they did something in the girders. And they
So you
blew
think
them.
there's thermite?
I
You're
think
like
thermite.
Jesse,
I
the
do.
body Ventura.
100%.
No,
There's
it's like
thermite.
this.
She thinks it's an energy weapon from Israel, I think, right, or something.
It was a testing of a weapon.
This is her theory. It's a Roseanne Barr podcast.
And it was you know, like Marjorie Taylor Greene says, Jewish space lasers.
We love her.
In my opinion, it was rods from God, because you can see it. A lot
That's
of,
an Israeli
and
weapon.
it's the same thing as
They
happened
should-
in California and Hawaii. Many of the cars, half of their
Direct
corpse.
energy weapon she's talking about.
half of their corpse was burned and the other half was,
Right.
You know, nothing happened to it.
Right.
It's rods from God. They were testing rods from
Rods
God.
from God. That's the name of the weapon.
That's the name of the weapon that
This is a real
Israel
weapon.
created. And you say Israel, you know, all these anti-Semites, but the truth is Israel created it with Saudi Arabia and the United States because they understand the total threat of Islamicism, and we have to.
Why would Saudi Arabia be working to fight Islamicism?
Because okay, now, do you want me to tell you the truth?
Yes, please.
They're allies now with Israel.
I might have to have a cigarette to do that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I will allow it.
The Prince of Saudi Arabia has told me personally that I am protected in my life.
When
What's
did this
his name?
happen?
Prince Salman,
Directly
Sounds
or through intermediary?
Prince
through
Salami.
intermediaries. He loves me, and he loves Trump.
And they are allies now, Israel and Saudi Arabia.
Because Trump saved
That's
his
true.
life in Vegas.
How did Trump save his life in Vegas?
never.
This is juicy.
It's Roseanne Barr Podcast.
In Las Vegas, the whole thing about them shooting the thing at, what's his name? The songwriter that I told you that
Jimmy
was his
Buffett?
concert.
Buffett?
No, not Buffett.
No.
The guy that was like famous for a minute.
Jason Aldean?
Yes. It was his concert where the people were shot down.
Oh, yeah,
Right?
that other shooting, Stephen Paddock, that they never
Paddock.
found. He had 17 guns that he...
Paddock, a Jew.
He was a Jew.
And he somehow...
He was dating a Muslim,
Mm-hmm.
which I
And
don't
Trump
recommend.
flew to that, was it the, it wasn't the Tropicana. I don't remember,
There were
but
multiple shooters that night. I know that.
Trump flew there and he alerted Salman that his family was going to kill him,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah. Just for
Trump alerted him. Wow.
All I know is they're smarter
What
than you both
happened
think they
after
are.
is Prince Salman went back to Saudi Arabia. He arrested his uncle and unfortunately
Killed him.
tortured him to death to extract information
It's not unfortunate if it's true.
and killed off one of the royal families of Saudi Arabia.
That's very Sopranos.
I know. That's where I wrote my sitcom about this. It's all incredible. But anyway,
I think you guys are underestimating the enemy a little bit, and I'm going to be the one.
I'm
So,
not in,
well,
I'm not
you are.
under
I also want to make
You are.
something clear about this retard evil thing.
Yeah.
I
I like it.
it's the past 5 years they've
Yeah.
become incredibly retarded.
I think they're dumb in execution, but I don't
Like,
think...
They're dumb.
6 years ago, they were good at being evil.
Yeah, they
This
become
past
they're
arrogant.
5 years,
completely
the
done.
wheels are off.
They
and
become
they're-
arrogant.
Let me tell
They're
you
just like,
this. I
him go, make Trump a die.
Yeah.
I want Trump to die.
They banned me off TikTok because I went on all those Palestinian sites where they show the dead babies, which is so horrible.
Yeah, it's sad.
So horrible. And I go on all of them, and they banned me for this. And I says, it's so horrible that you don't put the babies in the tunnels that the world is paid for.
Mm.
It's so horrible that you keep them above the ground and not in the tunnels that the world is paid
Right,
for.
and
Good
the
point.
pipes
And
and,
they
everything
banned
we
me
gave
on-
to you, they turn into weapons.
Yep.
And they banned me on TikTok.
Really. So this is my theory with Vegas.
They don't give a fuck
wanna
about
hear
any
this.
children
I'll just
in the world.
What'd you
Those
say?
are their collateral
I
damage.
said I want to hear this. So
Oh,
I'm
I
gonna
thought,
turn
I
you
thought you
up.
were like, I don't want to hear this.
No, I want to turn you up because I want to hear this.
So I think that Stephen Paddock
Mhm.
was a dupe set up by the feds
100%.
to do a major arms deal with terrorists.
That's
Oh.
right.
Interesting.
And I think there was 2 or 3 guys, and the CIA sent him up there, They said sell these guns to these guys. I guess so we can track them. I don't understand why they were doing that. Maybe there's Apple tags on the guns, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Metaphorically.
True.
The terrorists sussed it out, and like this is bullshit. They killed Stephen Paddock,
That's
and then they
correct.
went, you know what?
Correct.
Fuck America.
Scarface.
And they Scarface style. They
Yeah.
blew out two different guys. And they used all the weapons
That's
on
right.
those
Two
people.
shooters, yeah.
Killed 350 people.
It's disgusting.
And they went out in a blaze of glory.
That's
Because
interesting.
our competence crisis,
Yep.
Feds, CIA, FBI, were so bad at this setup that they botched it and they got 350 people killed. And that is why we don't know anything. Because the answer to Vegas is FBI incompetence. And you're never going to hear about that.
But what about the FBI incompetence? Because the FBI was taken over by the CIA, John Brennan.
Yep.
And
Yep.
John Brennan converted to Islam.
Yes.
Yes.
You know
And
that
what-
show?
Let's go like this. Islam
Homeland.
says in its holy renderings,
Mhm.
I will look behind a rock and there will be a Jew and I will kill him. That's why I say it's anti-Semitism, because the Muslim Brotherhood, which was founded by Hitler, is just anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
And the left and the right have come to agree that the Jews are evil.
While they're paid by the Muslim Brotherhood.
While they're getting paid by the Muslim Brotherhood, they're bitching about AIPAC.
Yep.
Well, AIPAC doesn't pay for every U.S. university to hire
Right.
an anti-Semitic
Absolutely.
Muslim to teach there, or all this other shit that goes along with. As I always say,
Qatar is the #1 funder of American
yeah,
universities.
as I always say, if you want to really get Hamas, go to Chicago because that's where it's centered.
Oh, I never heard
It's
that.
centered at the University of Chicago by fucking commies. It's all fucking a commie bullshit thing to destroy America.
Are they laundering money through Chicago, or you're saying they
Yeah.
actually? Because I thought Iran was funding Hamas.
It's all the same shit.
Okay.
Switzerland, all the money they sent to Switzerland, all the money Obama illegally sent to Switzerland, to Iran,
Yeah.
went through Switzerland and Germany, went through Vatican banks,
Okay.
because we are in a war against Satanism.
Is that why
And-
he called the Christians that were blown up by Muslims Easter worshippers, and him and Hillary Clinton, they all had the same CIA talking points?
They hate Christians
Were
and
they
they hate
behind it?
Jews. That's period.
Yeah.
They hate the Torah. They hate Jesus. They hate Judaism. Jesus was a Jew, is a Jew. They
Yeah.
hate that. They fucking hate it.
When you did Roseanne the first season, the first iteration, no one thought of you as a Jewish woman.
Mm-mm.
I know. That's why all the Jews are saying, all the Jews say to me, you're like Esther because you're come forward, but I'm a Jew too.
Yeah.
But I think most people saw you as like a Catholic.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, middle class. They don't think
Middle
of Jews
class.
as middle
No,
class.
they just saw me as
Christian.
my goal was they just saw me as an American. I love liberty.
Yeah.
I love the working class. I love the working people.
Yeah, but he's saying you were
Yep.
living in
It wasn't
Lanford, you had a
nothing about
drywaller.
religion. It was leave religion out of it. It's about the working class people. It's about the people in the world, the working people of the world, which is why I love Trump, because he's talking about jobs and the working people.
Yeah.
You know what first made me love Trump is exactly that. He was doing a talk, and
He knows where the real shit is. It's
I'm
with
too-
the
yeah,
working people.
I think we're all too middle class to know the traits of
Yeah.
electricians versus steam fitters
Right.
versus
Yeah.
the different trades. And he got up there and he's like, "We got everyone here today, right? We got the steam fitters. They're showing up late. They're sneaking out, having a couple beers after the first shift, right? Because no one noticed them. And we got the electricians. Electricians think they're better than everybody, shitting on the plumbers."
Yeah.
And I'm making up stereotypes, but he nailed all the stereotypes
knew.
of all the trades, because
And
when his
remember when
buildings
he
were being
said
built,
the
he
he went
used
there.
him.
He said the Jews are pissed at me because I don't need their money. Remember that?
Right.
Donald Trump Jr. said the same thing on
Genius.
Bongino yesterday. He's like, I grew up around fucking contractors, and my dad's not an elitist billionaire like
Builders.
Well, he was like
Make
country
America
clubs. I always
great
say this:
again,
country
builders.
clubs were so elitist that even American Jewish country clubs
Yeah, she
didn't
got
want
kicked out.
Eastern European Jews
Yeah.
in their mix. So
True.
they were
That's
banned.
correct.
So the whole thing you hear about Jews not allowed in country clubs, yeah, Jews are not allowed
'Cause
in
Jews
Jewish
kept 'em
country
out.
clubs.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Jews kept them out. I applied to a Jewish country club and they wouldn't accept me.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a
in
true story. Or
Brentwood.
in
I
Tom Arnold
couldn't
in
fucking
Brentwood.
believe it. I gave them
In New
20.
Jersey?
Brentwood,
No, in Brentwood,
LA.
California.
Oh.
Like
I gave
Bel Air.
them $25,000 and they still turned me down, but they took OJ.
Wow.
Bitches.
And
So
who's
Trump goes,
laughing now?
If you got 50 grand, I don't care if you're gay, Catholic, Christian,
That's right.
Jewish, you're
That's
in,
right.
black. And all of a sudden there's these country clubs with like black dudes and Asians
Great.
and Jews and it confused the elites. And that's one of the reasons he's such a villain with
That's
them
why
is
liberals
because
hate him.
he turns his nose up at their eugenics.
Yeah.
But it's not only
Very
that.
true.
Let's get into some deep Judaism
Very
now,
true.
and then we'll go
Okay.
eat.
She always likes to go to the Judaism. Have you noticed?
Well, because for me, there's nothing else.
I mean, I respect that.
There ain't nothing else with the Bible.
I want
Okay.
celebrity gossip.
I know he wants that. I want to talk about 9/11. We're all
Did
in
Carol
different...
Burnett shit herself?
When?
No,
Ever?
but there's a lot.
Probably.
Whatever.
Is she
She's
still
a
alive?
genius. Nothing else need to be said.
She's a genius.
I
Yeah.
love Carol Burnett. The performer. You don't like her?
I love her.
No,
I don't dislike her. I don't really have a.
She
opinion
called me
about
on my 60th birthday.
What'd she say?
Happy birthday, Roseanne.
Is that very
We've
creative?
got to get together. I love her.
Well, we
What about
made you a
Whoopi
cake.
Goldberg.
Don't
Boring.
get me started on her.
I mean, you sound anti-Semitic when you criticize me.
That's what we always
No
say.
shit, I know.
The
What
only
about
Jew you can't
Cultural appropriation. Let's just
Yeah, how's that not
Paul
Jew
Lynn?
face?
Is that before your
Huh?
time?
Who's that?
Paul Lynn.
love.
What about Johnny Carson?
Love.
Yeah.
He gave me my start.
Now, didn't Joan Rivers' husband kill himself because he pissed off Johnny,
That's correct.
and he thought it ruined Joan's career?
And it did.
But
Never
she had a
heard
hell of
that.
a career.
She was brilliant. Brilliant comic.
Did you ever hang
Brilliant
out with her?
comic. Huh?
Did you ever hang out with Joan Rivers?
A little bit. She came to my house a couple times, yeah.
She seems hilarious.
So hilarious.
Were you guys just crying, laughing? You and Joan Rivers in a room? You guys must have been weeping with laughter. Or is she
We
more
got
serious?
each other. We got each other. We got the Jew thing.
Trying to
Right.
think who else you met that I got to see. Michael Moore. I liked him back in the day. Now I can't.
Yeah,
fucking
my
stand
mom
that
loved
guy.
Michael Moore. She told me the two favorite people she met in Hollywood, Paris Hilton and Michael Moore.
I love meeting. Michael
I can see
Moore.
Paris Hilton. She seems like a cool,
Yeah.
honest person who's not a phony. But
No,
Michael
she's
Moore-
not a phony at all. And how she is like implicating the U.S. government in child trafficking, I love her because it is the government that's doing it.
Absolutely number one business in the world. I want to say happy birthday, by the way. We haven't said
Happy
you very much.
birthday to
Thank you for coming here on
Thank
your
you so
birthday.
much for coming and spending
missed
your
my party
birthday with
to
you.
come here.
This is a true story, Mom.
It's so great. Well,
he
we
probably
party.
regrets it now.
we
but-
made
Tons of
you a
people.
homemade cake.
You did?
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
go hang out with us and eat now.
I want to see it. Let's show it on camera.
Let's go eat. I'm drunker and
Mom's
shit.
drunk.
And
She
I
needs
need
to
to
wrap up.
go, I'll need to go to bed soon.
Let's wrap up. I just want to say I think you both are underestimating the enemy, and I think that's a mistake. That's
I'm
my
not
last word on that.
Yeah,
underestimating.
you don't get to
the
wrap it up and
Hey!
throw in
No, you get
something
to
like
wrap
that.
too.
Let
That's your
me
camera.
wrap it up. You bitch, let me wrap it up.
And that's your camera to wrap up, Kevin, if you want.
Let me wrap it up, bitch.
You should let Gavin, and then you do the final wrap up.
Okay.
I'll give you the final word.
Okay. Oh, you'll give me the final word? Okay.
All right, then you go, Ma, and then Gavin will go.
Here's what I know. It's way deeper than any you know. When you say, well, you're talking about Jesus, okay, you can blab on, but you don't know, and I'm going to show you. He's way more than any of you ever even can imagine. He's way bigger than any of you even know. And I love you. And my big takeaway from this show is, what's my big takeaway?
We just love Gavin.
Oh yeah,
McInnes.
Trump. He carried in his pocket the Zohar.
We got word from Marla Maples that this is true.
What's a Zohar?
It's the
It's not an
Kabbalah.
Adam
That
Sandler
is-
film about Israelis.
That's a Zohar.
Yeah, kind of. But it's the
the
holy.
Kabbalah- the
It is
Kabbalah.
the holy book of the Torah.
The
And
mystical
Trump-
level of the Torah.
We
the
gave
Kabbalah.
it to, what's his name, the PLO, Arafat.
Yep. We have him here. It says, I'll tell you.
One
it's
week
Kabbalah.
later, he was dead. We gave it to several people. It's a protection. It's from Mount Sinai. It's the soul of Torah. Marla Maples gave Trump a copy of the Zohar, and he carried it in his pocket.
Apparently, he had it on the assassination attempt when
He
turned
had
his head.
it on him.
That's
The first bullet hit him in the side.
allegedly.
No, this is what everybody says. The first bullet hit him in the side pocket where he had the Zohar,
Mhm.
and it did no harm. And then the second bullet pierced his ear after he turned his head. As Jordan Peterson said, and I thank you, Jordan, and I love you for this, the Jewish people, the Jewish people like me, we are who we say we are. And we are not who they say we are. And God does offer his protection to us through Michael, the archangel, Michael. When I met Trump at Mar-a-Lago, I put my hands on him. I prayed for him. I gave him the blessing from the Zohar of the protection of the archangel Michael. And this is a war not only of information, but of a spiritual plane where we say, as it says in the New Testament, we fight not against humans, but against principalities of the air. And that's what Jesus was telling us. And so I want to go more into the teachings of Jesus and what he was teaching us so that you can know he's bigger than you will ever imagine. And it's time for you to accept it and take it in and repent and go to the next level of beautiful, radiant intelligence that will save this planet and everything in it. With love.
Very well. Gavin, final word?
So, recently with the Trump assassination attempt, people are trying to figure out that, trying to differentiate between evil and retardation. Is the deep state purely evil, maniacal, planning out things, handpicking shooters to kill people, or are they just retards and they're allowing incompetent Secret Service to put our president in jeopardy? I vacillate between the two, quite honestly. There's a gray area in between evil and retardation. But the big picture is it doesn't really matter whether it was Mayorkas and Kathy Cheeto's incompetence that got Trump shot at, or if it was a well thought out plan. At the end of the day, Trump is still getting shot at. At the end of the day, these people are destroying our country.
Yeah.
I actually don't care if they're evil or retarded. All I know is they're wrecking my life and my family's future. So I honestly feel like we're at a turning point in American society.
Yes,
And I
sir.
think the moderates, the far left is gone forever.
Yeah.
But I feel like the
They're a
moderates are waking up and realizing that we've been telling the truth this entire time.
Yeah.
And we've been warning you
Provable.
about this malfeasance that is going on
Yeah.
with the deep state for many, many years.
Yeah.
So welcome aboard,
Yeah.
folks.
Thank you for showing up.
Welcome to the truth. And the truth
Welcome
is
to
that
the
America's under attack and we need to fight back.
Yes, sir.
Fight- Fighting solves everything.
And as we all agree, I'm saying this as a Jew, only the mentality of the Messiah can save us too. Only the mentality of the Messiah, which was modeled here on this planet by Jesus, can save us.
No. Let's bring him back.
Amen.
Mashiach now.
Mashiach now.
Thank you.
Immortality now, because it's about immortality, and we will reach immortality. Go cue the song.
So you see,